Today we are playing Rakdos Knights in Pauper. So this is a deck that I've pretty much just thrown together this last week or so, but I realized that we have a few pretty good knights in the format. The main ones being Smitten Swordmaster, which can ping your opponent and gain new life equal to the number of knights you control, so for just 1 mana. So if you have like 4 or 5 knights on the battlefield, this can be an enormous lightning helix directly to your opponent's face. Of course, you have to have a sizable board for that, so it's situational, but it's also a 2-1 lifelinker, which is not bad at all. That's honestly the best knight. The reason that we're playing the deck, really the only card that cares about that creature type. But Rimrock Knight's not a bad one either. Can give +2/+0, nice combat trick, deal a little bit extra damage, make your guy trade up, whatever. And then also a 3/1. Can't block, but ideally will be the aggressor, so it shouldn't matter anyway. And we are also playing a bunch of 1-drop knights. So we have Rohirrim Lancer from Lord of the Rings, 1/1 with Menace, so some nice evasion. And when it dies, the ring tempts you. Ring tempting you, probably not super relevant, not something that sees a lot of play in Pauper. But it's going to make it so that your creature cannot be blocked except by creatures with... it can't be blocked by creatures with higher power. So, most of our guys are 1/1s or 2/1s or something like that, so they can't be blocked by Tolarian Terrors and things like that, which can be pretty effective. And then also, as the ring tempts you, goes through it, it makes it so your opponent loses life when they block, they have to sack the creature, you get to loot when you attack, something like that. I don't play with the ring tempts you that much. But we also have some other ones, because changelings are, of course, knights, as well as every other creature type. So we have Universal Automaton, which is no real abilities other than it being a knight, but we also have Galvanic Blasts in this deck, so the fact that it's an artifact is relevant here. And then we have Changeling Outcast, which can't be blocked and cannot block, which is nice combo with the Rimrock Knight. You can get an extra 2 damage in that your opponent can't block, and also the ring tempting you put on here, the can't block is kind of irrelevant, but if we get through a couple levels of the ring tempting you, then we can also make it so that we can like loot and not have to fear our guy dying and things like that. So we're playing all of those as our knights. We are also playing, since we're just kind of go wide, we're playing Bushwhacker, which is just obviously a good card, not a knight, but I think it'll just be good here. And then we also have Rally at the Hornburg, which is one that we've seen a lot recently in Red Rally. Very powerful card there. It just makes 2 1/1s, but they have haste, which is very strong. And it does give your humans haste, which is pretty relevant. Most all of the creatures in our deck are humans. The Smitten Swordmaster is a human. The Rohirrim Lancer is a human. And of course, the Changelings are humans. Now, the Rimrock Knight is a dwarf. Goblin Bushwhacker gives itself haste, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Maybe if you get into the point where you want to play a Bushwhacker first and then rally, you can't do that. But the haste should be kind of decent, and also obviously getting more guys before the Bushwhacker is pretty good. So those are our creatures. Because we have such a low curve, we are also playing Experimental Synthesizer because it's good value, and another artifact to add to our Galvanic Blast. We are a aggro deck with red, so of course we're playing Lightning Bolts. We had a couple extra slots, so I threw in some Chain Lightnings as well, which I don't think can be bad. The main issue that I have here, and the thing that I'm concerned about, but we will see how it goes, is the mana base. We are only running 18 lands, which is pretty low. Mono red usually runs 17 or 18, and we are 2 colors. So I do have 6 tap lands here. Jagged Barrens and Razortrap Gorge can be an untapped land if your opponent has low enough life, which ideally we can do. We're playing all the artifact untapped lands that we can for the Galvanic Blast, and then for mountains, because we are much heavier red. The only black spells we have are the Outcasts and the Swordmasters, but of course the Swordmaster is one of the reasons that we're playing Knights. So we'll see how this goes. I'm a little concerned with it. Some gold fishing pointed to some issues, but I don't really think more tap lands, like it feels like if we put more tap lands in, we're going to be too slow. So we're just going to give it a try and see how it goes. On the sideboard, pretty straightforward here. We have a bunch of 4s and 3s, and the festivities for your opponent's go wide strategies. 4 Pyro/Red Elemental Blasts for blue, 4 Smash to Smithereens. I chose these over Cast of the Fire because we're going aggro. Cast of the Fire is a great card, and there will certainly be opportunities where Cast could be better, but we're going to try the Smashes. And then 3 Nile Spellbombs. We are an aggro deck, so sometimes it would be better to play like Tormod's Crypt or even maybe Fairy Macabre. At this moment, I'm trying the Spell Bombs. I like the extra card. Tormod's Crypt not giving you the extra card is kind of rough. Obviously, being free is very powerful in a aggro deck. And Fairy Macabre is also free and from your hand, can't be Masked Vandaled or anything like that. But we're going to try the Spell Bomb. We have the red, so I figured why not. So that is the deck. We're going to take it for a league and see how we do. Not submit the wrong deck this time. Let's actually get it and play the deck we want to. Rakdos Knights. And as always, I forgot to change the title of the stream. Hi mate, was hoping for a Black Sack Live. I do plan to do that at some point. I appreciate that you're interested in that. Right now I'm trying to just use some of the streams to try out some brews and things like that. But I'm definitely going to do some Black Sack Live. To be honest, I was honestly going to do it last stream, but I actually have like 3 Black Sack videos already like pre-recorded for the next couple of weeks, so I wanted to make sure that I was doing enough other variety stuff. But it is one of my favorite decks, and I will certainly be playing more. We have 2 Changeling Outcasts, but we have no red, and we have 2 Bushwhackers. So this, unfortunately, looks like a mulligan. Some of the mana issues I was mentioning. This one looks better, though. I think we'll be getting rid of Galvanic Blast, probably. Just try to keep our creatures high. Is Black Sack your main deck, Capitan? Or just one of the ones that you enjoy? What do you like playing? We're going to start with the Jagged Barons. Pass to them. They're going to think we're Rakdos Madness, but in fact, we're a far worse deck. Looks like Elves. Untapped land's kind of nice. I could play the Lancer and the Automaton, and then potentially Rally next turn. Yep, I guess that's what we're going to do. We might actually just blast creatures depending on what they play. Priest of Titania. That's definitely going to eat a Galvanic. And a Llanowar. Ooh. Well, Synth is another thing we can play with the Galvanic. Unfortunately, if we do play it, we hit anything other than a blast, we're still going to probably want to kill this Titania. So I think I might just have to blast. Our opponent says, I really don't know what I'm playing against. I really don't know what I'm playing. TBH. Alright, well, we're attacking for 2. I think we're just going to have to blast the Priest, otherwise we're going to fall too far behind. Usually I'm on red aggro deck, but I've purchased your guide and now on the Black Sack train. I am glad to hear it. It is not only one of the most fun decks, and I mean, it's honestly become a little bit meta now, but obviously it was a little bit unknown a little bit ago. But it's also just a very strong deck that I think a lot of people underrate. Winding Way hits Forest Winding Way, but they do get a Masked Vandal and a Quarian Ranger. There's the Quarian, and they can play the Vandal, get rid of our Automaton. That's kind of annoying. A couple weeks in Italy and Europe, restarting a big event, restart the big event. So I'm gonna find a deck to smash the tournaments. I like the sound of that. Hey, I bet people probably won't be anticipating a lot of Black Sack. It's kind of hard to counter sometimes because board wipes don't always do it. Spot removal is really good against it, but snuff outs and things don't work. So you know. Maybe you can take it down with Black Sack. I would love to see that. All right. Well, and the Festivities is going to be really good from our sideboard. We're definitely falling behind here. They don't have a ton of mana or anything. They just have a lot of creatures. Since we killed the Priest, I guess they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish mana. 7 maybe. Smitten Swordmaster. Well, we don't really have that many Knights at the moment, unfortunately. We could attack with this, but we just trade with this guy, which is probably fine. I guess they can untap the Sentinel. We wouldn't trade with anything. We're going to play a Swordmaster, a Synthesizer, and see what's up. Universal Automaton, that is another Knight, so I'm going to play that. I could ping for just 2 with the Swordmaster. I don't really love that, but how many other Knights are we going to be getting anytime soon? Probably not a ton. I mean, I think our main way to win is they kind of draw a lot of blanks, and we can Swordmaster them out a bunch of times. I don't know if that's really a great strategy, but I don't think pinging for 2 really makes much sense here, so I think we're just going to pass and hope that they have a bad hand. Ooh, the Pack Beast. Brutal. 4/3, costs 1 mana, draws them a card. Very nice. Kind of a weird one that I thought was kind of weird when I first saw it cropping up. Because like in White Weenie, this card wasn't really working as well as people thought. I tried it out and I didn't love it. And I think the reason is because in White Weenie, if you lose all your creatures, this is like a 6 mana 4/3, which is really bad, right? But in Elves, if you lose all your creatures, you've already conceded. So it kind of makes sense, to be honest. They have a Timberwatch Elf, so if we don't find removal for that, we're going to be in a bad spot. Rimrock Knight, not going to cut it, I don't think. I mean, we can attack and maybe get them. They're not going to block with this, but maybe we get them to block something else. But then we just take 7. I think we're too far behind. I think we're going to hope that the Festivities works better, and we're going to keep them in the dark, not knowing exactly what we're playing. But End the Festivities is definitely what we're leaning on here. We're not going to take out any removal, because removal is key. Swordmasters are pretty important. I mean, automatons are kind of just our worst card because they don't do anything other than fill Galvanic, Human, and Knight roles. Rimrock Knight could get them. I think that's decent. Bushwhacker could be okay. I don't know if Rally's amazing, honestly, here either. Like, they go wide. They have a couple guys with a lot of toughness, and then we just can't get through. I don't know. We'll cut a couple of those for the festivities. We'll be on the play. Well, this hand is just removal, but to be honest, that's kind of what you want against elves, right? I mean, I still want to get an end the festivities, so I might be a little reticent to use any of these on one toughness creatures, but I'm certainly still killing like a priest or a Quarian anytime we see one. I am probably going to try to stream again on Friday afternoon, is what I'm currently thinking. I would like to do Mondays and Saturdays because I put a poll up and that's what people voted for. This week I can't do Monday or Saturday, but in the future I'm going to try to do that. But I'm making up for it today and hopefully Friday. And if I do Friday, I could do some Black Sack then, potentially, because I do think that would be a very fun one to do live. It would probably be afternoon as well, because I have local Pauper on Friday evening that I would like to go to. All right, they just have a Birch Lore, not too scary. We have a Bushwhacker with no other creatures. I think we're just going to pass here. There's a Quarian. I could shoot this in response, because they're going to tap, bring this back, untap, play it. They could play a 2-drop. I guess if I bolt this, maybe they can't play a 2-drop, and that could be good. They can still, if this is their only forests, bring it back and replay it, but they didn't even bother doing that. I guess they have no other 1-drops? I don't know. I kind of want to get artifacts down for the Galvanics, but also if I just play it here, it actually turns on a Masked Vandal. They didn't have another forest, so honestly, killing this Quarian Ranger could cut them off 2 mana again. So I think we're going to do that. I mean, if we can just keep their creatures dead, and if they are stuck on 1 mana, then it's possible we can get a couple more creatures and start getting in. I really don't want to just send off this Bushwhacker now. Attack for 2. I think we got to keep it for at least 1 other creature. I don't know. Then again, if we use it on 1 other creature, it's +1/+0, and we're wasting a damage by attacking earlier. I don't know. I just have a Sentinel. Like, synth into a creature would be really good. Outcast isn't bad. I guess we play that, and now I Bushwhack, so I can get in for 4. This still doesn't make mana. If they try to play another creature, I'll probably shoot this. Swing for 4 here. If we can also deal enough damage to them and get Metalcraft, Galvanics, we could have 8 damage in hand. We only need to deal them 6 more. They just concede? Okay. I mean, we'll take it. They were not in a great spot and probably frustrated not drawing lands, but we didn't have the most pressure. But let's send it back. We didn't even see an End the Festivities, so hopefully we can find one of those. This is not End the Festivities. It is just a lot of creatures quickly. I guess we'll give it a try. Feels like no removal is probably going to be a bad choice to keep, but we will see. Changeling Outcast. I think playing that as an unblockable guy, in case they play like 2 or 3 guys here, is probably best. Or if they play a bunch of guys with more than 1 toughness, I should say. Although I guess maybe I made a slight mistake just because of our mana. Because if I go Rally on turn 2, and then I want to go Rohirrim Lancer and Bushwhacker, I'll need triple red, and I won't have it. Whereas if I had played this on turn 1, then this, then I could have done double red and a black on turn 3. So that could be a wrong choice, but they have an Elves and a Ranger, untap, and they have a Priest. And the Festivities, come on. Jagged Barons, which I can't even play if I want to play like a Rally. Yeah, I think maybe for our mana, I made a mistake here. But also, like I said, no removal is going to be pretty rough, I think. We could pretty much just lose this next turn. I mean, best case scenario, they just play like 3 or 4 X1s, and then we draw in the Festivities and everything's golden. But we'll see how that goes. There's a Sentinel. There's a Timberwatch Elf. That's going to kill us if we don't draw removal for it or for most of the other creatures. I swing for 2. Come on, Changeling Outcast. Well, I guess I can Outcast. I mean, this made it so our mana issue from before isn't a big deal. I can Outcast and Bushwhacker. We have 10 damage attacking in. This is +5. If they just take it, then they can deal us 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's going to be close, but if we have any shot at this, I think it's Bushwhacking now. They can't quite kill us next turn, and then we either get a Festivities or we get like another Bushwhacker or something. I don't think leaving any guys back is a winning strat here. but they're at 7, and they're making 1,000,000 mana. Oh, these are elves, which means this taps for even more mana. That's pretty annoying. Lead the Stampede. I mean, they get a Quirion Ranger, which is even more mana, so if they have like a priest, not a priest, if they have a Hydra or something, it's kind of bad. If they don't have anything to use all the mana on, it's kind of irrelevant. But Masked Vandal, okay, that's annoying. Takes out our, Black Source, I would assume. Oh, they don't have a creature in their yard, actually. But they just kill us, because this is 11. They attack, they untap it, and we're going to die. Assuming they attack. Maybe they forget. Okay, they're playing it slow, but I'm going to assume they're not going to forget. And we're going to concede. Well, I don't think Elves is a great matchup for us, but again, we could have mulliganed more aggressively. We didn't see any of our sideboard cards, though, which is obviously going to be detrimental to our game plan. But let's move on to round 2 and see if we can get anything else. I mean, we're definitely going to be a slower, probably worse version of like a mono red, but that's not the point. I mean, we get to play Knights, and that's pretty cool. Don't you think? All right, round 2. We have 1 tap land. We have a lot of Knights with our Swordmaster, and we're on the draw. I think we'll mulligan, though. I guess this one's okay. We'll now get rid of a land. Yeah, like I anticipated, this one is being a little bit awkward. Ooh, Razortide Bridge. Are we against Esper CryoBlade, maybe? Or it could just be like Jeskai something, but looks like Esper to me. I mean, I'm absolutely going to get crushed by my current favorite deck in the format, but which is, you know, cool that they're playing that, but I don't want to lose. I think we just get down to Rimrock Knight and then start attacking. Otherwise, it's like play a Lancer, hold up a removal spell, and I don't love the look of that. But they have a lot of good removal, a lot of creatures, and a lot of card draw, so this is going to be a tough one for sure. I did just get a trophy with Esper CryoBlade last night, and this deck's absolutely sweet. There's the refurb. It might just be the Swordmaster, yeah, because we don't have the mana for it. I guess another untapped red wouldn't be bad here. Automaton. I think actually we want to shoot this, though. I don't really want them to trade, so I'll Lightning Bolt, play a Lancer, and swing for 3. So yeah, I don't think I've really played against this deck yet, but I've been playing it a ton. It's phenomenal. You should give it a try. There's the Glint Hawk, pick up the Relic, draw a card, I think. Although they played the Blood Fountain first, which seems kind of weird, unless they were going for affinity count, but then they shouldn't have picked that up. And then they have the Compass. Okay, so here I can go for a Bushwhacker. They can block here. Compass is annoying. They can block here. I get in for 4. Or I could just bolt and put down an Automaton. That makes the Bushwhacker better. I think we want to keep our Rimrock Knight alive. I mean, they can just Blood Fountain both of their guys back if they want. They could only play one of them, but that could be annoying for sure. They have an untapped land here. They do. They could also have Mirror Enforcers or any number of other things. Tithing Blade. Yeah, I kind of want the Changeling, or rather the artifact for the Galvanic Blast. Plus this has a dice trigger, so even though we're losing evasion, we're actually gaining some more evasion with the ring tempting us. So now this is our Ring Bearer. I don't know why it's doubling the right side here, but it's legendary, which means it can't be cast down. Very somewhat relevant. And it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Now they have a Skyfisher pick up the Tithing Blade. So this can't be blocked, and this can be. They have just 1 mana. I don't think they're going to have anything relevant for 1 mana. I don't think I do. At instant speed, that is. So I could Rally. I really don't want these to trade. I could also Bushwhacker, but I guess Rally Bushwhacker's the better way of doing that. Or I could just Galvanic Blast, but then I don't get anything. I think we'll just Rally, and if they want to trade with the Knight, then we keep our guys alive. Or they could just block one of these and we at least get in for 5, which is not bad. They do. That's fair. And we'll pass. I love the thought of a universal automaton being legendary. Very oxymoronic of it. Raven's Crime. This person's just playing my list. No one else even knew Raven's Crime existed until I played it. That's crazy. I'm getting absolutely hosed by my own tech. Well, do I want to keep Galvanic or Bushwhacker? And by that, I mean probably neither if they just have 1 land. But I guess Bushwhacker's better if we do get to keep one. There it is. Wow, Raven's Crime. What a good card. Someone should absolutely play that in their deck. All right, well, that was honestly terrible. If we still had a Bushwhacker and a Galvanic, I don't hate our chances. But now I kind of do hate our chances. Great Furnace is not good. Let's see, do I let them trade here? I guess not. If we get a removal spell for this, it might be better to have it. They can't block this guy. And now we just got to play out every card that we get, because otherwise they can potentially Raven's Crime it away. And we don't want that. Now we want Raven's Crime to be useless, although it was already very good. Cryogen Relic. Another Tithing, another Skyfisher. Okay, pick up the relic, replay it, and swing for 2. No? Okay. All right, what's our best draw? Lightning Bolt. I mean, honestly, burn just to the face might be our best bet. If they only had 1 creature here, I would obviously bolt because we could still get in for 3. But since they have 2, I think we're just holding it for attacking them. And if they Raven's Crime us, obviously we'll just use it in response. But we'll hold it so that they do Raven's Crime us and ideally waste a land, which if they have land, maybe they don't have land, but if they do, they should probably just use Raven's Crime before doing anything else every single time we have a card in hand, because what if we have something relevant? But maybe they didn't have the land. They're going to do it. We're going to bolt them, and they have a Compass. We're getting them so low, but Compass is brutal. This Ring Bearer thing's kind of cool, though. We get in for some damage. I mean, Vault's not the worst. It makes it so that if we get a black spell, it won't just rot in our hand and then get Raven's Crimed. So not terrible. They crack a Cryogen, keep this tapped. Yeah, that is annoying. And Tithing Blade. I mean, Rimrock Knight is looking worse here, to be honest. No unblockability, so we're going to get rid of that. This does, yeah, just kind of open them up to start attacking us, so maybe that was bad, but like, I don't know. Maybe we get like a Synth into a Bushwhacker. We get in for some damage now. Maybe not. There's the Hawk. I guess they just, yeah, pick up a Tithing Blade. We lose our last guy. No, my legendary automaton. And now we get the Swordmaster. All right. It was kind of close for a little bit there, but they gained a lot of life, had a lot of removal, but we were not coming back at that point. We do get Smash, which could be very, very good, and potentially some Pyros. Assuming they are playing my list, which the Raven's Crime's making me think they got to be. Their main deck's only going to be Thought Casts and Cryogen Relics for blue, and sideboard they'll have Blue Blasts, which they will bring in. They just said, let me get this for proof. I'm playing with your list. Haha. I knew it. As soon as the Raven's Crime hit, I knew that was the case. They also said it's very good, by the way. All right. Yeah, so they have Blue Blasts that they get to bring in. For that reason, maybe 4 Red Elemental Blasts is worth it, but I don't know if we can find this much space. I know their list, therefore you have the advantage. You would think, I will say, having played both that list and this list, I think theirs might be a little stronger than ours. But you're right. They're playing a deck that I'm very familiar with, and I'm playing a deck that no one is familiar with. Okay, so yeah, we're going to take out the Chain Lightnings. I could take out some Bolts, but they do have a lot of creatures, and none of the creatures are blue. So we still need to have removal for them. Automaton could be the pick. It's not great. They also, they're gonna have Dust to Dust in the sideboard. I don't know if they're gonna bring them in. We do have Vaults and Furnaces. So I honestly will take out the Automatons to make it less likely we get hit by a Dust to Dust in case they do bring them in. But I don't really want to cut anything else. So I think I will just go 2 Red Blasts. All right, let's see if I can use this advantage. I mean, they play a lot of bridges. My list plays 9 bridges and 10 other lands that are artifacts, not to mention, of course, other artifacts. I mean, we're going to keep this, right? Maybe Triple Smash will get us there. Ideally, they lead on destructible bridges, not the bridges. Or destructible lands, not the bridges, is what I meant to say. They do mulligan. That list is terrible. They have to mulligan. All right. We just start with the Lancer because we have more red spells to play. So like if we get another black land, we can play these 2 in the same turn. They do start with a Vault and a Blood Fountain. All right, well, this is what's happening. Boom. Destroy that Vault. Hit for 3. Keep them coming. Keep playing Vaults of Whispers. Okay, that's a bridge. That's not fair. Rally. I could just destroy this, but I think we're saving these for a little longer. I think Rally's the play. We get in for 3, pass. And if they play like a Refurb or any untapped artifact land, we'll probably just take that away. The problem would be if they play like 2 Refurbs here, we lose 2 cards, plus they have blockers, like that gets pretty tough. They just play another tap land, though. Okay. Smitten Swordmaster. Oh, we only have one knight, because these are unfortunately soldiers, not knights. Big difference, apparently. I think we're going to save the smashes for creatures. Also, they have Blue Elemental Blast up right now, so I don't really want to go for it on the Blood Fountain. I think I'd rather play out more creatures, more knights, and then hold up Bolt here, and then potentially Swordmaster them next turn. There's a seat and a compass. Okay. They could also have brought in Arms of Hadar, which is 4 mana. There's a Mirror Enforcer, so I might smash that. But we're going to bolt them at the end step here. I think they're holding up Blue Blast, which I don't think they're going to use on this, but they would use on a smash here, or a rally probably. So for that reason, I think we smash in their upkeep. In fact, I think we maybe smash their land. They can't actually kill either of our knights, which is good for this Swordmaster, because they have Menace and Unblockability. So they can block one guy. I think we're going to smash their land in order to make it so that they cannot Arms of Hadar us. They'll either have to tap a blue to save it, or they'll have to let it go. And either way, they won't be able to. And also, if they use a Blue Blast here, maybe I can smash for a Mirror Enforcer on our turn. They do use the Hydro, okay? I mean, if they can't get a creature down... Okay, here's a Glinthawk. But if we can smash the Enforcer, yeah, they're going to pick up the Compass, replay it up to 10. Annoying. Bushwhacker could be good at some point. Well, we're going to smash the... I could smash their land. That's not terrible, but if I smash Enforcer, I can get in for 2, then they're at 5. I think I like that better. It makes their blocks a lot worse. No reason to attack with a Soldier, because they can't block either of these at the moment. Because it's got Menace, but nobody knows this card, so that's fair to think that they could block it. Yeah, if we get like a red source here, then we could go Swordmaster for 2, or Curry Favor rather, and then Bushwhacker. That could be kind of good. Cast down the Changeling. Okay, not the worst thing ever. And a Bojuka Bog. Vault of Whispers. A little awkward. I can Curry Favor for 1 damage, and then I can rally and hit for 3. They can eat 1 guy, but I think that seems good. Curry Favor for 1, rally, and swing. They can eat 1 of these guys, and then if they have like an Arms of Hadar, it doesn't put us in a great spot. But if they don't, I think we're doing pretty well here. Triple Smash to Smithereens, doing work for sure. That looks like an Arms to me. Yep. All right. If we get a Mountain here, we can Smitten Swordmaster, a Mountain or Great Furnace, and then Bushwhacker, or even a Razor Trap Gorge. Actually, that'll do it too. We can play our Smitten Swordmaster, and then we can Curry Favor for 1 damage. Boom. Got there. That was cool. All right, we're now on the draw, and chances are we're not going to have 3 Smash to Smithereens, so it's going to be tougher, but we were able to get them for 1 game, so I think that could work. Let's see how we do. All right, Just a Great Furnace is not great, but we do have synths to look for more lands. We're on the draw. Excuse me. I think this one might be okay. We have to get a little lucky, but isn't that always the case? Bushwhacker, not really the best draw here. Ancient Den and 2 mana Cryogen. Yep. Okay, we found the Jagged Barrens. That means I don't need to go fishing with the synth, so I actually can just Rimrock Knight, or rather Boulder Rush for 3 damage here. Then Barrens, put him to 16 on turn 2. That's not terrible. Glinthawk the Relic. Play a seat. They can just replay Relic. Yep. Okay, this has got Menace, so I can get around the Hawk. Razor Trap Gorge. I can't deal him unless I get a bolt off the top with the synth. I can't deal damage to make the Gorge untapped now. I could just play a Bushwhacker, maybe get in for 4. Or I could synth, which is kind of where I'm leaning. But if I whiff on the synth, I guess I can't play a 2-drop off the synth because of the Gorge. I could just play a Rimrock Knight. That makes our Smitten and our Bushwhacker better next turn. I think that might be the play. So we'll swing for 1, cast the Rimrock Knight, play the Gorge, and pass. And then we could Curry Favor for 2 and then Bushwhack, maybe. That's a good amount of damage. They have a Thought Cast. There's Black Source for Tithing. Yep. Well, we're going to lose the 1 power guy, I think. What am I trying to say? The Ring Bearer being on the Rimrock Knight only helps against a Mirror Enforcer, and not even if I Bushwhack. It's got to be the lower power guy, right? But then these just trade, so what does it matter? I guess if they play a Mirror Enforcer here, the Rimrock Knight is better. I don't know. Kind of tough, honestly. The Menace is super relevant. I'm hoping they don't just drop like 3 Enforcers here, because that would be brutal. There's a Compass, and that's 7 artifacts. There's 1. There's 2. I suppose they they obliged and they did not play 3 Enforcers. Well, this can attack in. They can't block. Bushwhackers are irrelevant against these. I could Swordmaster for 1, but it's just gotta be Synth into Rally, which are chump blockers, or potentially Bushwhacker attackers next turn. We'll attack for 3, and then I guess I'll Rally. I guess if they attack for 10, which seems unlikely, and with no blockers back, then I could play a Bushwhacker and kick another. That's 8, 12 damage, so that's still not lethal. They Hydroblast the Rimrock Knight. Well, that's rude. And then another Tithing Blade. Oof. Well, we needed those creatures pretty badly, I think. I guess if I find Smash to Smithereens, I can take out a Mirror Enforcer. They're attacking for 8 here. I think the only way we get out of this is they draw a lot of lands, and we start drawing removal spells for the Enforcers, which could be a Galvanic or a Smash. There's a Smash to Smithereens. So I could just smash one of these, and then nothing. Hello, Ben. How's it going? We are playing some Rakdos Knights against my exact list of Esper CryoBlade, which is pretty fun. Yeah, I smashed this. I guess they could also have a Hydroblast for that. Then I just play a Bushwhacker. Yeah, I guess so. I could wait until their turn for the upkeep. Do I need a Bushwhacker now? I think I need to get one of these down. I could wait till their upkeep, but since I know their list, they are running to Eviscerator's Insight, and maybe they sided them out. That's a possibility. But if they didn't, then it would give them the option to sacrifice the Mirror Enforcer to that, and then they wouldn't take 3 damage, and so I just don't love that. They attack for 6. I think this time we'll take it. There's a Skyfisher, so they can Tithing if they want, which is probably the safest play. Like, Relic is pretty decent too here, but if they wanted to just keep our guys gone, they just replay the Relic. There's Galvanic, which can technically keep us alive if we kill the Enforcer. We only have 2 artifacts, so I have to play the Synth. None of these other ones are looking great at the moment either way. So Synth into Changeling Outcast, which can't block. Well, I think this time we can Galvanic in the upkeep because they have 2 mana right now either way. We'll play this Outcast and we'll pass. I could shoot a Flyer because technically I can chump the Enforcer, but looks like they were about to Eviscerate his Insight and then they did not. So maybe I just shouldn't do this here. But we're going to lose to these Flyers in 2 turns anyway, but that's if they don't keep attacking with them, which they could be a little scared to do. Although at 15 life, probably not. But I think if we chump the Enforcer every turn, we're going to lose regardless. 5 mana for Flip a Tithing. Okay, fair enough. Gains them a little bit of life. They do attack for just 2, it looks like. Okay. So they don't have lethal on us next turn, because they have 4+1 from the Sepulcher. We have a Jagged Barrens. I think I need to get lucky on this Synth. If I find a removal spell for this, then maybe I can kick a Bushwhacker. No, I can't do all of that. Well, yeah, I think we need to get lucky. Rimrock Knight is a blocker. It makes it so I can attack with this Bushwhacker, because then if they block, I can just eat it or either trade. So we will swing. But I think I'm hoping they don't block. Ooh, and then I can just play this guy, and then maybe we can go for a big Bushwhacker next turn, but they do block. Well, I could pump and trade. Then I can Curry Favor for 1, because I might as well, because I'm pinched on mana. And then Jagged Barrens, they're going to be at 12. Next turn I can play Rimrock Knight, Bushwhacker for 8. Then we're pretty much dead after that. Or I can let this go. I could play the Rimrock Knight. The next turn I can play Swordmaster and Bushwhacker, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus we have lifelink for 3. I don't think that's quite going to do it. I think we just got a Boulder Rush here. So they'll trade, play a Barrens, and we'll Curry Favor. I didn't Curry Favor pre-combat because Goblin Bushwhacker's not a knight. So I didn't really need to because this guy was probably not going to die in combat. Not unless they had like a cast down they were going to use. They do stun our Outcast, which is quite annoying, and replay another Relic. They swing for 2. We're not dead next turn, unless they have a cast down or something, because we do have this Swordmaster with lifelink. So I pretty much have to go Swordmaster, Bushwhacker, lifelink, because otherwise... Oh, actually we're at 4. Otherwise they drain for 1 and then hit for 2, so I guess we're not quite dead either way, which is good. That actually lets me opens me up to maybe like play Rimrock Knight and a Swordmaster, although that opens that up to removal a little more than otherwise. I could just crack a Synth here, hope to get lucky, but I also get to play an Outcast. I think that's probably the play. Worst case, I play an Outcast. Best case, I guess I get like a Bolt, Smash to Smithereens. Ugh. Well, I don't have the mana for that, even though I would love it. Yeah, if they have an Arms of Hadar here, I guess we're not technically dead because we still have the Smitten Swordmaster Bushwhacker next turn, but it's not looking great. And yeah, they just keep this Changeling tapped. Changeling basically gone. Sepulcher pings us again. I don't think there's anything else in the deck that can deal us any damage, so I don't think we're dead here, but Arms of Hadar is probably a nail in the coffin. There it is. And flip another Tithing Blade. Well, that means we go to... That's going to be lethal next turn. Dang. Because we're at 1. Lightning Bolt was 1 turn too late. I wanted to find that last turn, not the... And then if we had if we'd drawn that off the synth, and then we got a Shatter now, Smash to Smithereens, I mean, then we could stay alive. But now I have to stay somewhat alive. Well, it doesn't matter, because I can play a Swordmaster, give it haste with the Bushwhacker, attack for 3 lifelink. We're at 4. We lose 2 damage here, and we lose 2 here. We can bolt this, but that doesn't matter, because then we just die to these. If this doesn't have haste, we can synth into whatever. Yeah, it was kind of close, but we're not going to be able to get there. Cool list, looks fun. I agree. I think it's pretty sweet. We did take a game off of them, but was not able to get there, unfortunately. It was like we were close to stabilizing. If we just drawn that bolt in the opposite order, then we would have killed the Glint Hawk there. We would have gone down to 3 instead of, because we wouldn't have taken the Glint Hawk hit. And then we draw the Shatter. I keep saying Shatter. Smash to Smithereens. I mean, it is a Shatter, but then we shoot one of the Tithing Blade. I mean, you know, if we drew just better, it would have been fine. Still kind of win for you since it was your deck list. I mean, yeah, either way, you're right. I couldn't have, my deck list could not have lost there. 5 lands is not going to cut it. 4 lands is a lot, but we do have double synth, which makes it better. Plus, I just don't want to go down to 5. Although I hope I draw a 1-drop. Oof. We're going to be playing against the better red deck, probably. I did draw a 1-drop. Question is, do I just use it? If this is like Rally or something, I'd happily just shoot this off. But this could just be like Madness, and then the Chain Lightning is really important for a Kessig. But next turn we're probably playing Rimrock Knight and then trying to synth after that. So I think we're just going to send it off and hope for the best. And they can't throw it back right now, so that's a minor win, I suppose. There's a Percussionist. That's usually, at this point, only being played in the Rally deck. So maybe we made the right choice. Another Bolt isn't bad. I mean, Rimrock Knight looks pretty bad against a Percussionist, but I think we don't really have anything else to play. I don't want to synth while we have 2 drops in our deck on only 1 mana. I don't want to just hold up a Lightning Bolt, and, you know, if they don't play any other creatures, I could just bolt this or whatever. They do have a Snacker, though. Maybe it is Madness with Percussionists? I don't know. Faithless Looting. Snacker comes back. Usually, Snacker and Percussionist aren't seen in the same deck, because if you exile a Snacker, it's kind of bad. Then again, I think I might have seen Kalikai's playing this with like Melded Moxite, maybe. Tomb Raider, discard another Snacker, another Percussionist. Well, and the Festivities gonna be good. They swing for just 1. Another Synth. Well, we're playing a Synth. I think that's pretty obvious. We get a Rohirrim Knight, or Lancer rather. I guess we're playing that and not attacking with the Rimrock. And they're gonna swing, block here. Ringbearer doesn't really matter. I guess we're just hoping to get the right like Bushwhacker draw and then outrace them somehow. But that seems tough. They have a Chain Lightning and another Chain Lightning. And there's the Bushwhacker. Problem is we're at 8. We swing, they block here, we get for 4. That's like nothing. So I guess we're gonna synth here, get a mountain, hold up a bolt for like a Snacker. I think, again, we need to get a little lucky. I think maybe we do this for like a Curry Favor would be our best hit. Rally. Well, I guess I can play that. Those are blockers at least. Attack. Leave these guys back to block. This is kind of bad leaving up all these guys back to block, but what are you going to do? I don't really want to give them the card with the Percussionist. We need blockers, because otherwise we take this, we die to like 4 damage, and that would be rough. They just swing with the Snacker, which we will take, and then they just have the grab the prize Fiery Temper. I guess if they find a Fire Blast, we're dead, or just like a mountain with, I guess it would still have to be a Fire Blast, right? Well, there it is. We are dead. Okay, so it looks like Madness, but with Percussionists and Tomb Raiders, like more aggressive, and they don't have the pingers maybe. So like, and the Festivities looks good because of Clockwork, and Burn is just so good right now. Dude, I know. It's, I remember when, Kuldotha got banned, and I legitimately had people asking, do you think red is going to survive this? And I was like, have you read Lightning Bolt? Like, red is always going to be around unless if like the 15 best red cards are banned. And yeah, like Kuldotha was banned, Kuldotha was insane, but now we just have Red Madness, which almost feels just as good, if not better. It's probably worse, seeing as people would have built it if Kuldotha, you know, if there's a better deck than Kuldotha. But yeah, it's just like they get down a Gutter Snipe, and in this case, they don't even need to get down a Gutter Snipe. Snacker just makes everything so good. Anyway, is Snacker, the question is always, is Snacker worth bringing in a Spellbomb for? If they get 2 Snackers, yes. If they get none, it's really rough. That's another reason, is it's like, not only the Red Madness version is so good because your opponent has to sideboard so many cards, because they need their life gain, their Weather the Storms, but they also need hard removal because of Gutter Snipe and Casting Flame Breather, but then they also need Graveyard Hate because of these stackers. And if you just, oh, well, I won't do Graveyard Hate this time, then they could just have the snacker draw. They get you 3 snackers, and then you just die that way. So it's just, you have to sideboard in like 10 cards to even have a shot at stopping everything they do, which is really, really tough. Okay, I think we're going to just not do the spell bombs. We're going to go for the End the Festivities and take out Chain Lightning and Automatons. The usual cuts. Got to build some kind of green anti-meta deck. I mean, you're not wrong. I've specifically brewed a couple decks, not really that I've shown off, but with the intention of them being anti-meta. And most of them end up, this hand's not amazing. We have some removal. I mean, we have good, like, decent mana. I feel like this is not really one I want to throw back. Most of the decks that I build that are like anti-meta end up Boros, because artifacts are always really good. Boros are the best artifact colors. Artifact hate colors because of Dust to Dust and Cast into the Fire. They have a Tomb Raider. It doesn't even have haste. And yet, I'm still just going to bolt it. We should have Metalcraft here if they don't have removal spells for him. Jagged Barons, or I could just play a Swordmaster. I think we're just going to play Barons. So yeah, Boros is great for anti-artifacts. White is one of the best colors for Graveyard Hate. Obviously, you have your colorless ones, Relic and things like that, but Thraben Charm is one of the best Graveyard Hate cards. It also obviously answers... I guess we keep shooting these. It also answers enchantments, so Bogles is your best bet there. Synth, gotta bounce for a bit. No worries. Yeah, we'll just play a Lancer. So Boros for that, and then of course Red has Pyroblasts. So you get all of that, and then also Red has board wipes. You have End the Festivities and or Breath Weapons, depending on how many creatures you have. So generally, it's just pretty good. We're drawing well, and they probably just have a bunch of burn in hand. I don't want to Rimrock Knight this guy, because then they just shoot it and we lose 2 cards. But we'll Synth here, and I might just play the Rimrock Knight. Ooh, Rally at the Hornburg. I guess we'll do that instead. And if they have an End the Festivities, so be it. Cast into the Fire. Fair enough. That was just a 1-for-1, so not the end of the world. They're going to shoot this too? Oh, that's so rude. All right, the ring does tempt us, but we do not have a Ring Bearer. Play a Vault and pass. I mean, they're not doing too much, which actually means we might have a shot with these synths, but obviously killing all our creatures is annoying. Okay, so I could crack a synth, but if we hit a 2-drop, it's a waste. So I could just Lancer and Knight, but if they have another Cast of the Fire, it's kind of bad. I think we will crack one of these and just hope we hit a 1-drop or land. I can deal with that. Okay, in that case, I can just play the Rimrock Knight, because at least they won't be able to kill them both with just 1 Cast into the Fire. I can live with that. They do Fiery Temper, the Samurai. That's fine. And they finally have a Grab the Prize on a Snacker. Yep, it's going to be annoying. If we get a Bushwhacker off the top, we can swing with our whole hand. That'd be pretty good. And the Festivities isn't bad either. Okay, so we're going to crack this in case we get a Bushwhacker. Another Rimrock Knight. So if I attack and I Boulder Rush this, again, we're going to lose both of them. So I think we just leave it and we play the Rimrock Knight. Now, if they cast into the fire, they're going to get both Knights, but at least they have to use that on their turn for 2 mana. And if these survive, we can maybe get a good Curry Favor going, plus End the Festivities can clear blockers. Another Smitten Swordmaster. All right, I'm going to End the Festivities. We can absolutely go for a big Curry Favor here, but they're probably going to remove some of these Knights in response to that, so I might as well attack first and see what they want to kill here anyway. Searing Blaze a Knight. Okay, that's just 1 damage. Hit for 5. Okay. Lancer, and I think then we'll Curry Favor, hit him for 2, and then play this Swordmaster. This plays a little bit into an End the Festivities, but they have Searing Blaze and Cast in the Fire. It feels like they don't have End the Festivities. Like, I assume those are both sideboard cards, in which case they can clear 2, but not all 3 of these. Maybe I can get another Curry Favor. Hey, we won a game against whatever version of Red this is. I mean, they have Fiery Temper, so technically I think that makes it Red Madness, but I'm used to that having the Gutter Snipes and things. All right, on the draw, it's going to be a little tougher. Again, maybe this is a time when we want Spell Bombs for on the draw. Honestly, yeah, I think we can try a couple of them. If we can just survive, then looks like we might actually have better late game with some of the draw we have. I mean, this hand looks pretty solid. We're going to keep this one. All of our, both colors of mana with double red, which is nice for Bushwhacker. We do have a tap land, but so we can't play a 1-drop, but on turn 1 that is. Oh, and they concede. They kept a 7-card hand accidentally, maybe? I guess we take the match. Knights are just so scary they didn't even want to play game 3. And that's how you do it, folks. All right, on the play here. This one looks pretty good. We got some burn. I mean, it's a good amount of burn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gotta lead with the Barons. If I had 2 untapped red sources, I probably would just play Lancer and then Bushwhacker and then do the Barons. But since we don't, this is what we're doing. More red, it looks like. What kind of red are you? Faithless Looting. Red Madness? Proper Red Madness, maybe? There is a Snacker and a Vault. Okay. Well, we don't really have much else to do, so we're just going to get down our mana and the Lancer. And they have a Thermo Alchemist. Okay. So, Madness Burn, I would assume, with the Snackers, but Thermo Alchemist is usually played more in like Pinger Burn, so this is kind of a mix, it looks like. I could Lancer and Bushwhacker, but they can block the Bushwhacker. That's kind of waste. Plus, I don't want to take damage from this. So I think we just Galvanic, not Galvanic, because that doesn't deal enough damage. We Chain Lightning, and then I don't really want a Bushwhacker when we have the mana to get in with more guys, so I think we'll just save it for next turn, hold up the blast in case they play like a Gutter Snipe or anything like that. Ooh, no, nothing at all. That's good too. I mean, I think the chances they have anything other than just single target removal spells in the main deck are low, so I think we just Bushwhacker and try to go for 6 here. And if they want to use bolts and things, that's fine. There's a bolt. They bolted the Bushwhacker. I mean, these do have dies triggers technically, but the evasion's pretty good to have around. All right, we have 5 damage in hand. They're at 13. We need to find 2 more artifacts for this Galvanic Blast. They do have a Grab the Prize and a Fiery Temper. It's going to get back a Snacker. They are just going to go face. I kind of like that, especially if we can get another Bushwhacker, which is probably our best bet, best draw. Rally's not bad either. Let's do that. Attack for 4. We need 4 more damage. They're going to swing for 2. That does not look like a good sign. I feel like that tells me they can kill me here, which would probably be like Gutter Snipe and a bunch of Fire Blasts and Bolts, but they flash back a Faithless Looting. Okay. I mean, double Fiery Temper. There's 1. Okay. Maybe they just don't think I can kill them, but I certainly can. Well, we're going to Bolt on the end step here, and a Bolt is good too. I mean, I guess they just didn't want to trade 2 damage for 1 damage, which is kind of fair. It doesn't really make a difference if they had blocked, but they do have a Lava Dart. Okay. That can eat 2 of these guys. But we're going to have the damage from hand, which I'm going to wait until we deal damage here on the off chance they have a Fire Blast to kill one of these, which I guess we'd still have the lethal damage, but all right. Took game 1 against Mono Red again, and the Festivities looked good because they had Percussionist and Epicure. I don't actually think it's probably great here because all we see is Snacker so far, so that actually means I can bring in Spell Bombs and feel less bad about it. I took out Chain Lightnings before because I didn't think they had pingers. This one does, clearly, so I actually think maybe keeping those in is the right call and just going for the Automatons. This deck's pretty sweet. I think the big thing holding it back, well, one of the big things, is no other real Knight payoff other than Smitten Swordmaster. There's only 4 of them in the deck, so we don't draw most games. And even when we do, it's also very reliant on us having a board. But if there was just one other card that paid off Knights, then I think it could be pretty good. Ooh, this hand isn't bad. I think we're going to give it a try. Nothing for them on turn 1. We get a Swordmaster. So I think well, if I play a Mountain and a Lancer, then I can't go Changeling next turn. I could go Rally, but I think for that reason we go Changeling here. This is really bad if they have a Smash or Cast into the Fire for the Vault. They also just kill our guy, which is annoying. But hopefully that isn't the case. Okay, Grab the Prize Snacker. Not amazing either for us. Razor Trap Gorge. Yeah, we're just playing these guys. Next turn we can go for a Rally maybe. And then Curry Favor. They swing for 2, which we're going to take. And they have a Sazakep's Brew. They didn't want to give us a fish. They have another Snacker. Bushwhacker's pretty good. It's going to be tough to rival them here, but if they wipe our board, we're going to be dead. If they don't wipe our board, we might have a shot here, because next turn we can Curry Favor for 2 life, which could be relevant, and then also we can Bushwhacker for 10 damage. Searing Blaze, okay, not great, but not an End the Festivities. They're attacking for 4. Also makes Curry Favor worse. We could just be dead here too, which would, be unfortunate. Looks like we're still alive. Ooh, that actually lets me just cast the Swordmaster and then Bushwhacker, which means we have 1, 2, 3 plus 8, 11 damage, plus I gain 3 instead of just 1. I mean, that's better. It both deals more damage and gives us more life, so better chance of surviving. Chances this eats a removal spell are high, but that also saves us life. Oop. Cast a Bushwhacker. We're going to go to 12. These guys attack us back down to 8, so they have to only have 8 damage on us. Oh, they just have a Lava Dart from the graveyard? Oh, I just forgot about it from earlier. Perfect. Well, Swordmaster having 1 toughness, definitely a bit unfortunate. So now they only need to deal us 5 extra damage with 5 cards. I think they might be able to manage that. There's a Chain Lightning and the Fire Blast. Alright, well, kind of close. A little closer than I otherwise thought it might be. And the Festivities looked decent there against 2 Snackers, but also, you know, that's kind of what the Spell Bombs are for. So, I don't know. We're on the play. Maybe we can get them. Felt like if we were on the play for that game, we might have been able to survive. So, not a terrible thing to know about. Kind of slow because of our tap land, but double Bushwhacker, Curry Favor. I mean, this does not look like one we're going to throw back. Barons and pass. Lancer. Okay, well, that lets us get 2 guys on the field, both Knights, which is good for all 3 of these guys. But they just have the Lava Dart. Lava Dart's so good, dude. Unfortunate. Well, it feels like they don't have Grab the Prize Snacker, because they'd probably just do that without thinking about it too much. Or maybe they have another potentially good play. They're just in the tank. They pass. Okay. I mean, Mountain lets us go Bushwhacker, Bushwhacker if we want. Like, one of them not kicked, which I don't love. It lets me Smitten Swordmaster for 1 damage, like Curry Favor. But we're not going to do that until after. So I think we just kick 1 Bushwhacker and then Curry Favor if this knight is still alive, which it will not be. In that case, I might just Chain Lightning them. I mean, our deck just absolutely crumbles to a Lava Dart, right? Lava Dart's just almost as close to 1 mana, kill 2 things as possible, and they just have a bolt. Okay, well that is annoying. I guess 1 Chain Lightning now just feels very underwhelming, so I think I'd rather save it for a Thermo Alchemist or something. If we do get another land, I probably will Swordmaster Bushwhacker, but then they just Lava Dart the Swordmaster. I guess at least it eats a land. They have a Gutter Snipe, so that's the or something. We're going to Chain Lightning that. We do get the land, but I'm going to do this first to see if they want to Lava Dart anything in response. They don't. Well, I guess we'll just cast the Swordmaster. I think the chances of running them out of Lava Darts before I cast this are very low. Maybe I should have just kept it because we could Curry Favor, but we have no Knights at the moment. I think just forcing them to use the Lava Dart when they maybe don't want to is probably best. But if they have the 4th land, they probably don't care too much about one of them. Spell Bomb. I think the chances they just use one right here are high, but we're going to play Spellbomb second main, just in case. They do. Well, I'm going to play a Spellbomb. And I think we just save it through their turn, use it at their end step. So I get the Lava Dart regardless, but at least I don't let a Snacker happen this turn. And then we will draw a card. We get a Mountain. They let the Lava Dart go. Second Bushwhacker. I mean, we've got nothing going for us. I guess we just double Bushwhacker here. Hope for the best. Not for this deck, but I'm kind of falling in love with Reckless Lackey. Yeah. I mean, that was a card that was seeing... They have a Fiery Temper on one of these. Okay. Reckless Lackey was just seeing a bunch of play. Not when it first got printed, to be honest. I kind of liked it in red before everybody else picked it up. You know, one of my claims to fame. But then after a couple of months, geez, they just have all the answers. After a couple of months, people started playing it a lot in Kuldotha before Kuldotha was banned, probably for 6 months or so. I don't think I'm just going to run out 1 Bushwhacker. I think with the 2 that I had, I think it was reasonable, but for this, we're not going to do. Finally, Pauper content on Twitch. I am doing my very best to bring the people what they want. Ooh, Rimrock Knight's decent. I think we'll just cast that and kick a Bushwhacker and probably have both of these die to some bolts, but at least they won't be going face. Just hope no cast in the fire. There's a Lightning Bolt. All right, attack for 2. Don't see anyone using First Strike in Pauper. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's avoiding First Strike for any specific reason, but it doesn't seem to show up on a lot of cards that people are playing. I think the main place you see it is like Ethereal Armor in Bogles or maybe even Mono White Heroic. Lackey did see a little bit of play for a little while, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, maybe there are definitely... Ooh, that's a great draw. They're definitely not as much First Strike as you would think. Rimrock Knight? Sure, we'll cast that. One point I was trying to make a Bushwhacker affinity list work. Ornithopter Frogmite into Bushwhacker was pretty awesome when it worked. Might go back to trying it now with Melded Moxide out. I mean, if you look back about a year, I was doing quite a few Rakdos affinity lists with Bushwhacker. I didn't do Ornithopter, I don't think, just because it doesn't have any power itself, but I was playing Frogmite. This was after Clockwork Percussionist really made it good. Percussionist, Frogmite, I think I might have tried Lackey in there, I'm not 100% sure, and it was pretty sweet, to be honest. Okay, I could sack the Synth. I don't think we have any Bushwhackers left, do we? No, there's no Bushwhackers left, but I could get a rally at the Hornburg. By sacking this, I'm actually going down on affinity count, or rather Metalcraft, but I think it's worth it, just in case we hit a rally here. We hit a mountain, that's fine. But yeah, I honestly think I might have even gone big enough with artifacts at one point to do Mirror Enforcers with Goblin Bushwhacker. Another Searing Blaze, or I guess they could have, yeah, okay. Cast into the fire, fair enough. Could Chain Lightning them while they're tapped out. I don't think I need to. Lightning Bolt. Yeah, I think my issue with the Rakdos list was that, like a lot of decks, it kind of just played like a worse Grixis Affinity, but my goal was to do a faster Grixis Affinity, right? More of an aggro build, and I think there was some merit to that. I think it was pretty good being able to play Clockwork Percussionist and Tomb Raider, as well as like Frogmites and stuff like that. Not bad. Double Snacker here is pretty rough. Ooh, Synth is good though. Rally's not bad. Dude, this synthesizer making a samurai is so annoying because we're a knight's deck. Doesn't make a knight. We have the rallies. It doesn't make a human. Yeah, I'm just playing that, I think. I wonder if we could fit the Snacker package in with the Moxite. If it's Rakdos, we could use Thopters for Akiba Gang. Although Snacker coming in tapped doesn't synergize with Bushwhacker. Yeah. I think Snacker not coming in with Bushwhacker definitely means doesn't coming in. Can't speak. Comes into play tapped. Can't attack with Bushwhacker is pretty awkward. And I did do not a couple months ago, it was probably like 3 weeks ago because it was with Melded Moxite. I did do a Rakdos control list with Moxite and Snacker, and that I think was pretty sweet too. But yeah, I just don't think they synergize that well with Bushwhacker. It's not terrible, like they're still going to be fine. So I think they could be decent. Well, again, we're going down on Galvanic here, but if we had another rally, we're going to want it pre-combat. I think we do this. Do anything else with your Esper Glintblade deck? Yes, I have, actually. Let's see. How much damage do we have here? 8, 9, 10. All right. I think we're taking the chance and throwing this at them. Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing the Esper Glintblade deck basically every single day in my free time. Been getting a lot of leagues in. I've switched it up to Sansa Brew. I have a Raven's Crime in there. I think that was someone's suggestion when I was playing it the other day. I think it was Thurib, maybe? Someone else suggested Raven's Crime, and I was like, maybe. And then I tried it, and it was phenomenal. It was yours. Okay, I couldn't remember. I didn't want to take credit from you, but I also didn't want to be like, oh yeah, you definitely said this. Yeah, well, it was a phenomenal suggestion. I've won like 6 games just off of the Raven's Crime. It's even good in the right situation against like a red deck because you can just take all their cards because all the red decks right now are playing all the draw 2s. Fantastic suggestion. Very, very good. So yeah, I've been playing that. I put in a couple of Eviscerator's Insights. I've been talking with people there's a Discord server for like Glint Hawk decks. Although it's, in my opinion, misappropriately named the like Mardu Discord, Mardu Pauper. The idea being that it's Glint Hawk, or it was Orzhov, Glintblade, and then Boros Synth. But then also they have channels for like Esper and stuff, which obviously doesn't fit into Mardu. So anyway, but I've been talking with people in that Discord, and somebody suggested Eviscerator's Insight. I previously tried Fanatical Offering and didn't really like it, but then the Insight with Flashback has been very, very good because the games usually go very late because you're playing a very controlling mid-range list. So it seems pretty good. Okay, they're plotting a highway robbery here, so it feels like they're not killing us, which is good. Oh, this sounds awesome, especially being able to hold up mana and make Moxite Robot at the end of your opponent's turn. Yeah, I was able to do that with the Rakdos control list with Moxite several times, and it was honestly really good because I was also playing it with Pact Doll Terror, and so being able to have Moxite trigger the Pact Doll Terror not just in instant speed, but also just twice was really strong. Okay, we don't have enough damage here. Well, we technically have exactly enough damage, but we're not getting through these. But I think we just attack. We get in for 1. We make them lose their guys. Yeah, they can bring them right back. They don't have anything in the graveyard, but also if we let them live, then they probably just attack us for lethal. So glad to hear. It's always fun to use your favorite cards. I'm a big fan of Ephemerite, so always trying to work that in. I mean, like, Raven's Crime is one of my favorite cards, so the fact that I didn't think about it, I'm so upset about. But no, I've played a couple Raven's Crime decks on the channel. It's really good with Black Mage's Rod, although I don't really care for Black Mage's Rod in Esper because I just haven't liked it. But in like a mono black, Gardens deck, Raven's Crime with Black Mage's Rod pinging your opponent a million times is really, really good. And big fan of Ephemerate. I love Ephemerate too. It is one that I've played in Orzhov Glintblade sometimes, because of course using it with refurb is really strong. Oh, that's a funky Gutter Snipe. They don't have anything in their graveyard, but they just have 2 cards. So if they have a Bolt and like a Blast, Fire Blast, we're dead. So we're gonna hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, Ephemerate with refurb's great. Ephemerate, like if they try to kill your Skyfisher, to like flicker the Skyfisher and then bounce something else is really sweet. So I'm a big fan of that. The Esper list, I will say, I've had to cut like 10 cards that I wanted to play in it. Oh, Highway Robbery. Okay, well, we definitely have to just kill this now before they draw 2 cards. I did not realize they had that plotted, but they plotted it last turn, and I said that out loud, so I should have remembered. If that resolves, though, we're probably going to die. So yeah, I don't think I could have fit Ephemerate in the Esper version. They are going to Fire Blast, but being able to play it in Orzhov, I think, works pretty well. Haven't found another Discord as good as the FAMS one. Is the Marty one good, too? Is the FAM's Discord as in like Azorius Familiars? I don't think I'm in that one because I don't really play that deck. Yeah, the Marty one is, they sack a land here. They get back both snackers, and they have a mountain. I guess we're at 2, so they just have a grab the prize with another snacker. Okay, well, they kind of drew perfectly there. If we just get a bolt, we have lethal. All right, well, it was close. The Mardu Discord is it's okay. It's fine. Like they added the Esper, what am I trying to say? The Esper like Clint Hawk deck recently, and so there hasn't been a ton of people talking in there, but I just hopped in the other day and was like, hey, I've been working on this list. We've been workshopping it a little bit, and there's been some helpful feedback there. I play Glintblade and Borosynth a little bit, but I haven't really checked out the rest of the Discord. I'm really only focusing on the Esper right now. I do think if you play Black Sack, I mean, that's my Discord, so, I'm maybe a little biased, but we have a lot of people in there, a lot of different versions of the deck, and I think it's one of the bigger Pauper Discords I've seen, because I've hopped into like a dozen Pauper Discord servers, and a lot of them don't have that many people, but the Black Sack one has like 300 people, so not bad at all. FAM's Discord is pretty much just the Pauper Spike Discord at this point. I think they should rename it. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, I maybe should just hop in there, because I would consider myself a Spike a little bit. But FAMS is just not a deck I play, so I was not ever inclined to hop into that one. But it is the one that I hear the most people talk about, so I guess that makes sense. Congrats on the Esper 5-0. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been playing the deck a ton, and I haven't wanted to... Not that I haven't wanted to record it, but, I just play some casual games. And so it's always a bummer when I get a 5-0 and I don't record it, especially because... for whatever reason, Magic Online replays have been down for like 6 months. I don't know if they're ever coming back at this point. But you used to be able to rewatch games that you played, and so I would just record a summary of it, essentially, which isn't necessarily my favorite. Some people like those better because it's more like in retrospective, and so I can offer more insight. But those are down, and I did not record it because it was like, midnight last night when I was just, chilling, watching some Game of Thrones at the same time. So I don't have a recording of it, unfortunately, but rest assured it was sweet. I do record the matches for the brews that I think have potential. So anytime I play a Black Sack match or Esper Glintblade, I record it. Record it as in not video record. I'm saying I have like a spreadsheet where I put down like if I was on the play or the draw, which games I won and stuff like that. So I have that data, but otherwise I don't have it saved anywhere. We're on the draw here. We have not a bad hand as long as we can just hit a second land, ideally red. And then we have 3 plays. Sure, we'll keep it. Check out the FAM's Discord. I think you get a lot out of it. Yeah, I mean, now that I know it's more like a Spike Discord, like I'll absolutely hop in there. I just did not know that. More elves. Okay, we do hit our land drop, which is nice. With only 1 bolt, I think we have to save this for like a Priest of Titania. So I think we'll just play like a Lancer. Thrones, my favorite show. Rewatch or first time through? My first time through. Can you believe it? A man in his 20s, never seen Game of Thrones before. I was in college when it was like, not when it was first coming out, but like when it was coming out, the later seasons, and like all my friends were watching it, but I just didn't pick it up for whatever reason. And then finally, both my brothers, who Andrew, who also runs some stuff on the channel, and Matthew, also had never seen it. for whatever reason, we all just had stayed away. And so we decided to all watch it together, essentially. I mean, we're all apart, but each month we're watching through a season. And so that's what I'm doing right now. All right, they Winding Way and only hit a Generous Ant. I mean, that's pretty good for us. Do I need to bolt this Quarian Ranger? That's a good question. I have a tap land no matter what. I guess we'll swing. I don't anticipate a block. And then, let's see, if I bolt this, they have 1, 2, Generous Ant. They use this, I assume. Yeah, so they probably don't have another forest. Maybe they do. I think we just leave the Quarian Ranger for now, which means I want to get down this Automaton, I guess. And play a Jagged Barrens. Any insight after that league? I guess Raven's Crime was good then. Raven's Crime was phenomenal. I'm always looking for a deck to play it in, but there are a lot of decks that just doesn't feel amazing. And honestly, this being a 3-color artifact-based deck, it kind of feels like it shouldn't be great in it, and yet it's phenomenal. We have a lot of black sources, we have the compasses to help fix our black mana, and we just draw so many lands with the Thoughtcasts and Eviscerator's Insight, which I put a couple in, but also just Cryogen Relic. Like, if you play it, replay it, pick it up a billion times, you can only play 1 land a turn, you draw a bunch of lands, it's bad. I've Raven's Crimed my opponent for 5 cards in the same turn, which is basically just game winning in any situation. It's also really nice against a couple decks that we otherwise have trouble against, like High Tide. We're really only winning against High Tide if we're able to like refurb them 3 or 4 times and take all their cards, but 1 Raven's Crime can just win that game because you just take every card that they have. They play a Nyxborn Hydra for +1. What? Why? I guess just trample, but they don't even have a Timberwatch Elf. So, okay. I mean, maybe we're doing okay here. So yeah, Raven's Crime's been phenomenal. Put a couple of Eviscerator's Insights in there. I switched to Thraben Charm because Spy is really good and it's kind of hard to deal with. And I wanted to up it to 4 Cast Down because I think Cast Down's really good in the format right now. But with the 2 Thraben Charms, and we have enough creatures, they can almost always act as a Cast Down. I think it's been okay. And again, it's just very hard to fit cards in. Like, I had a Metallic Rebuke in the first versions of the deck. I think it was really good, but I took it out because I just couldn't really afford the slot. All right, they can untap. If I attack here, I could Rimrock Knight. Bushwhacker, I want to wait till more creatures. I could just rally, but then we can't really attack with anything. Could leave up bolts. I kind of think we just rally and then don't attack. Oh, what season? I just finished season 3. So yeah, I pretty much binged it. We've been doing 1 season per month, and so for August it was season 3, and I just had kind of been focusing a lot on the channel. Most of my free time was going towards that, and so I binged most of it on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I'm liking it so far. Season 3 especially, a lot of stuff happening. They're just playing a Generous Ant? They are indeed. Okay. They can have 2 blockers here, but we could just Bushwhack. And if they try to untap something, I could just bolt it. Then they can eat 1 guy, but then we get in for like 8, and then we have more damage. I think that seems pretty good. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, swing. I assume they'll try to untap this guy. I guess if we bolt this, then they still just have a Hydra. But it's a 2-1. I guess it trades. Not amazing. They don't even untap. Okay, fair enough. I guess we just get in for 8. I could make it 10 with the Rimrock Knight, and then we just have lethal on them with bolts. That seems pretty good, right? I guess food throws that off a little bit, but I still think we might as well get in for the extra damage. So hit them down to 8 and pass. And then they do just crack the food. Okay, so if they leave everybody up, we can't kill them this turn, but maybe if we just draw another bolt, we can get them in 2 turns. They clearly haven't drawn very well. I hope that continues for another turn or 2, and we'll be able to get the game. But they're playing something for 2 here, it looks like. Maybe a Winding Way. No, just another Ranger. Okay. Swing for 5. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. Jagged Barrens. That's 1 damage short, and we can't get in for 1 here. So I think we just play the Rimrock Knight and pass. Yeah. I was thinking for a second, I was like, oh, I can send this in, it's gonna die, and then I have a Ring Bearer, but that just means that I have a guy who can't be blocked except by 5 of their guys, so I don't think that seems very good. They got something to play. Another Generous Ant? Yeah, 2, which is pretty annoying because they might be able to, well, tap this, untap. They could crack the food, which could keep them alive here. But I think we're gonna bolt them on the end step here. Hope we get like another bolt, and maybe we can get there. Rally. Okay, that gives us 7 creatures. They only have 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers, which means we get in for 3, which offsets the food, which is not quite good enough. But whenever they try to untap with Ranger, I could actually bolt, which prevents them from gaining 3 life and means that they only have 3 blockers, which means I get in for 4, and then Chain Lightning finishes them off. Okay, I think that should work. Here's hoping. I could Chain Lightning now, but I don't think there's any reason I need to do that. And if I calculated right, this should be fine. So they untapped that, and I'm going to bolt the one they're trying to untap. So if they can't food, they can't have a blocker, then they block 1, 2, 3, they take 4, and we Chain Lightning. That's the goal. They block 3 of these guys. Boom. Well, it only took them winding away for 3 duds and just generally drawing poorly. But we did get there. That was pretty cool. And the Festivities comes in, and Automatons come out, I think. Yeah, I think that's all we got. Well, we have our sideboard card. What are the chances we have a red land on top? I think low enough I'll send it away. This one's pretty good. I mean, we don't have the most pressure, but ideally we can lead on End the Festivities. I think we'll get greedy and send a land. I don't think it's actually that greedy. I think as long as we have both our colors and 2 red, I think we're fine. They also mulligan. I'm not just going to send this off right away. We're just going to Barons, and this turn, if they deploy like Titania and Quarian or something, like we'll definitely... Oh, they just going straight to combat? There's a Priest. Play one more guy with 1 toughness, please. Thank you. Play 1 more. Okay. Well, I'll take the 3 for 1. That seems pretty good to me, and I guess we'll leave up Galvanic, since none of the rest of this really does anything to play. Mystic, and I think now we'll just clear blockers, / keep them off 3 mana. I guess we'll just play a Knight. 3 damage a turn, and keep bolting down their blockers seems good. If I hit another land, I can synth, just so I can make sure to play a 2-drop off the top. And they concede. We get there. Nice flip 50 play points for us. Well, I think this deck is okay. I don't think it's terrible. Let's get this sideboard in. Nicely done. Thank you so much. It was all thanks to this guy. I don't know. I think this is... There's something here. The main issue is kind of what I was mentioning before. Smitten Swordmaster is our only payoff for Knights. It is a really good burn spell when we have 3 or 4 Knights on the board, but when we do not, it's a 2/1 lifelinker that dies to a Lava Dart, as we saw a couple times, which is not great. Rimrock Knight's not terrible, just having the ability to... I mean, a 3/1 is pretty aggressive even for 2 mana, and also having the ability to allow your guys to attack into 3 toughness guys is pretty nice. Changeling Outcast is pretty decent as unblockable. Lancer honestly was pretty good. Menace was close to unblockable a lot of the time, and also the Ring Tempting Us came up and was pretty relevant. Universal Automaton, definitely not as good as I was hoping. I mean, it doesn't do much, right? And that was the big thing. Galvanic Blast, we did struggle to get this online some of the time, and that's because we only have 16 artifacts between 8 lands, 4 automatons, and synthesizers, and we were siding these out pretty aggressively. So I almost want to find a replacement for these, but if I do, I might have to drop the Galvanics for something else. Of course, we could just put in like Voldar and Epicures or whatever, but trying to have a good number of Knights, I think 20 is kind of needed. We had 20 and we still were not having a ton of Knights. Curry Favor was usually only like 2 damage or something. Of course, Bushwhacker's good, Rally's good, Synth is good. Mana wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing. It's possible if we cut Galvanic, we don't have to have artifact lands. Then I could go down on like mono black sources if I want. We could put in more Jagged Barons. I don't know. I'm definitely good to stream for a little while longer, probably another hour or 2. Do people want to see me try to tune up this deck and play it again? Or do we want to try a different deck? I'd be happy to play whatever people want to see. But yeah, Smitten Swordmaster is kind of the only payoff, is the problem. I mean, yes. What do you want to see? Esper Glintblade? I mean, don't tempt me. I mean, you're gonna win by no one else speaking up. If there's no other votes, we're definitely gonna be doing that. Yeah, I think this is a fun little deck. This is one that I put together real quick in paper because I've been going to 2 different stores for local Pauper, Paper Pauper. And one of them is a little bit stiffer competition. I play my better decks, and then one of them is a little bit more lax. And so I think this is the type of deck I can bring there and still do pretty well with. So it's just kind of fun, but I need to tune up the mana a little bit and see if there's any other cards I can include that doesn't just make it mono red rally or whatever. Sounds like we're going with Esper CryoBlade. So this is where we're at with the deck right now. I have not changed it since last night. Last night when I was posting it on social media, but sure everything's seen here. Yeah, this is the deck. So, I mean, we'll just take it for a leak. Just to go over it real quick. I think the big thing that I'm doing that other people have said they don't like is playing Mirror Enforcer. A lot of people, especially in the Discord, are like Mirror Enforcer haters, I guess. Their reason being that Chrysalis and Tolarian Terror exist, and I think that's fair. However, those, Terror costs 1 mana, Chrysalis costs 2 mana. Mirror Enforcer costs 0 mana, though. It's so good. Several times I draw enough cards that I drop 2 or 3 of them on the same turn. And also the first iteration of this deck that I built actually wasn't running the Enforcers. I was doing 3 Black Mage's Rod and 1 Kenku Artificer. And they just didn't feel right. Like, my thought with Black Mage's Rod was, oh, you're going to be recasting your Relics and your Tithing Blades and your Blood Fountains. Well, not Blood Fountain, but most of these over and over and over, and you're going to ping for a lot. But it's just slow. Early game, you just kind of want to trade with creatures with the Black Mage's Rod, and then it just sits on the field. And Mirror Enforcer is both really good late game and also a great aggro card. Like, I literally last night I put down 2 refurbs and 2 enforcers on turn 3 at the same time, and that was due to like a Blood Fountain coming out earlier. But it was just absolutely insane. My opponent conceded almost immediately. It's not bad at all. Shouldn't get any hate. Just love Lifelink Rat Ninjas. I mean, look, for you, we can throw one of these in. I mean, when I'm trying to build a deck like this, I'm open to testing just about anything, and this is not a card that looks bad. Like, I think it looks reasonable. So, we'll try it as a one of in here. I mean, I do have to make a cut, which is so difficult in this deck. But as you're trying different things, I think it's important to keep what is really good about the deck, but also switch out some of the other cards. So yeah, we'll try one of it. Also an artifact. Honestly, if it wasn't an artifact, I probably wouldn't think it's very good in the deck. But because it is, I think it's pretty good, or I think it could be good, and I'm open to try it. But yeah, I don't think Mirror Enforcer should get any hate. If people don't like it, don't play it. That's fine. And also, I think one of the big reasons was you're open to dust to dust. That's definitely true. I have to play pretty much all artifact lands because of the Mirror Enforcers, whereas other people are playing Contaminated Landscape, which, is the Esper landscape. And not being able to play that is unfortunate, because Landscape is one of the best cards. It's silly to say, but I think it's one of the best cards that you get to play in Jund Wildfire, because you just get to play a bunch of lands, and then if you get flooded, it turns into a new card. So not being able to play that is unfortunate, but I think Enforcer's just so good. Okay, so what are we going to cut for this? The problem is it basically goes in our threat category, which is our 16 creatures, Glintblade, or Glint Hawk, I forgot its real name. Glint Hawk, Skyfisher, Refurb, and Enforcer. I think all of these are too good. You just have to play 4 of each of them. So I don't think I'm going to cut any of those. We have some one-ofs. I'm a fan of one-ofs. You know this if you've seen any of my Black Sack stuff. A lot of people like, 4 of everything or whatever, and I just like a lot of one-ofs. But I think Suffocating Fumes is mandatory. I tried taking it out for 2 leagues, and then I got run over by 2 or 3 different red rallies. And not to mention Elves, not to mention White Weenie. I just think it's very important to have. Cast Down is really important. We do have a lot of card draw. I've been trying out 2 Eviscerator's Insight, and I like them a lot. But I think I can maybe try cutting one of these for the Ambusher and just seeing how we like that. It is going to be less value, but being able to rebuy a Refurb with this and then rebuy this with a Skyfisher or whatever could be kind of cool. So I think we're going to do that. Honestly, there's nothing else in the deck or the sideboard that I've really been not liking or even really been needing. So I think we're just going to run it like this and see how we do. And I've been playing a one of Bojuka Bog. I was playing a Swamp just in case I have run up against Initiative or Cleansing Wildfire. I've played 50 matches with the deck, and only one time has it come up that I needed a basic, and it was when my opponent wildfired me, and I still just won that game handily. And I like the Bojuka Bog. The Bojuka Bog being able to exile a graveyard has come up many times against Terror and things like that. Being able to repick it up with a Skyfisher is a pretty nice tech. I think that's it. I'm done blabbering, and we'll do some CryoBlade. Make sure I have the right deck list. I think I deleted the other one just to make sure I wouldn't run into that again. Bog almost mandatory in black decks. Yeah, I think... What's happening here? I think it's just really good right now. I know that someone I was talking to about it in the Esper or the Glint Hawk Discord was saying that it's good obviously against terror, but it doesn't really do anything against your spy combos and things like that, which is one of the big reasons that Graveyard Hate's good. And that is mostly true, but also like being able to take a couple creatures early to stop yourself from getting Masked Vandaled is, I think, totally worth it. And yeah, it's just a good card. This hand looks solid. We have all of our colors, we have early removal, we have card draw, and we have an Enforcer. Obviously, we're looking for a Glint Hawk or a Skyfisher here, but this is very good. Cryogen, my beloved. Dude, I mean, it was, of course, previewed. Everyone went nuts because it looks like Ichor Wellspring. And then it's been a few weeks, it's been out, and it hasn't really made a huge impact on the format. To be honest, the main place it's seeing some decent results from what I've heard and seen is flickering it in either Flickertron or like your Azorius Familiars. And I think those are good uses of it. But I just think that people gave up on the idea of it being good with Skyfisher too quickly. Like, of course, everyone was posting about it and making some videos about it right away. And then we haven't really seen anybody do that since, except for me. I'm trying to put out a bunch of content with it because I think it's a very good deck and underexplored. They just brainstormed, if they are high tide here, we should just play like a Cryogen Relic and get that down as quickly as possible. I'm always inclined to think it's Terror, because Terror is the most common deck, and Fairies doesn't really play Brainstorm, at least not mono blue Fairies. So I don't really want to run this Cryogen Relic into a counterspell, especially since we don't really have anything else going on. So I think we're just playing Bridge and passing. And then if they do something to show their high tide here, it's going to feel a little bad, but we have double Enforcer, which honestly could get us there against high tide pretty quickly. And also it's clearly Terror at this point with Dispel and a Mental Note and this guy, who's a bit of an indication they might be playing Terror. So they're going to have 4 spells already in the grave. Bauble is nice if they find a Delver. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. We're going to side it out when we get there. But if they get down to fast Terror, we have a cast down. Well, not for an actual Terror, for another turn. But if they like play a Cryptic Serpent here, we can get rid of it. There's a Delver. Okay, that's nice because we can play Bauble. And if they counter it, we can just get down the Relic. See, I know people are like, oh, Enforcer's not going to be good against Terror. What about when you play 3 of them? You know? Okay, we're going to play around Spell Pierce here. Maybe I shouldn't have played around Spell Pierce because I kind of want them to tap out. But then if they have double Spell Pierce, it's really bad. I don't know. I'm going to Grim Bauble. If they want to counter this, that's fine by me. But at least we're getting some utility out of it, because sometimes I just have to, like, play it for no value. Okay, and they do. We could cast this down, but I'm really not that scared of it, especially with Enforcers and, I don't know. I want to get this Relic down. Compass, decent for affinity count. Honestly, that'll let us turbo these out next turn. People say Enforcer's worse than Chrysalis, and that's true in a vacuum, but you can't just cast 3 Chrysalis in a single turn. Yeah, I think Mirror Enforcers were pretty bad in the meta following MH3 when Chrysalis was being played in like every deck. Like people were splashing it in any deck they could. But now Chrysalis is a great card and is seen in 2 of the top 15-ish decks, but it's only really played in Jund Wildfire and like Gruul Monster or Monsters or Panza, and anywhere else you're not really seeing it. People aren't really splashing for it anymore, and yeah, you can just put down so many Enforcers and it's not a big deal. Okay, they do have a Serpent, they have Dispel up and Spell Pierce. We get a Refurb, that's pretty nice. So this is 5 artifacts, so I can just cast down to dodge Spell Pierce, play a Compass. If they want to Spell Pierce that, so be it. Although we'll Refurb first, and then we can drop 3 Enforcers if none of this gets countered. This seems really good. If they have a Dispel, this'll survive, but we still just get all of these guys down, and we take their last card. Okay, I'm going to play the Refurb first, because if they have a Spell Pierce, they might actually just discard it to this, thinking it's kind of not useful. They discard a Ponder, and we'll see if they counter this. They don't. Yeah, can you do this with Chrysalis? Tapped out, and now I have 3 4/4s, and now we pretty much just win the game. I mean, if they land another Terror, we need to find a removal spell for it, but I mean, we're in a pretty good spot regardless. A Mental Note, Island Spell Pierce, play an Island, so just 1 card left. If it's not a Terror, we just get to attack for 14. All right, got game 1. Very nice. So here we get Thraben Charms for graveyard and just removal, and Duress. That's pretty much it that we get against Terror, but we already have a pretty good matchup against them. We have a lot of hard removal, including Edicts, which are really nice, and also Raven's Crime is phenomenal. Bauble is nice against the Delver, and was nice there, but in general, I think both it and Suffocating Fumes don't do quite enough here. We're going to take them out. And Compass. Obviously, Compass is in the main deck because it's really good to fix our mana, but it's also there for life gain if we run up against any burn deck. And against a deck that's not actually burn, I usually like just taking it out. I think that's fine. You just need to be a little more wary if you're taking these out, that like keep a better hand, try to keep a hand with all 3 colors if you can. What a beautiful hand. This is gorgeous. They're also mulliganing. So we get to play a turn 2 Refurbished Familiar. They do have the Delver on turn 1. We get a Relic. Nice. So Familiar can block their guy. Of course, they could have a counterspell or an annul or whatever. But if they don't, it'll be pretty good. Oh, well, they do have an annul, I think. Another Delver. Oof. Okay, that's going to be problematic. Duress. Duress is good. To be honest, I think we might bait with Relic this turn to get them to use the annul. And then next turn I can play Refurbished Familiar as a blocker. I guess... Problem is if I play Duress, I don't get to use up my other mana. But I guess if they only have annul as a counterspell, I kind of want to use that now. And then next turn I can play Relic and Familiar. Yeah, I guess we do just Duress them, because they're at 3 cards. Double annul, Terror. Well, good to know about that. Play a seat. And, well, next turn we can still go Relic. If they annul it, we can get down to Familiar. Been a Blade hater for a while. Mostly just think Tithing Blade and Bauble are bad cards. But this deck looks cool. What makes it better than a Grixis list? How does white make up for the loss of Krark Clan Shaman, Munitions, Gale Blast, Red Blast? Great question. They get a Brainstorm. Wow, they're lucky. I will say, first of all, in my opinion, if you're trying to play the best deck ever, that's fine. But for me, I just like different colors. Like, I like playing different decks. So I think, like, why play this deck over another deck? If you just like, sorry for the long question mid-game. No, that's fine. I just like playing different decks. So maybe Grixis Affinity is better. I'm not necessarily saying it's not. But, yeah, Krark Clan Shaman, Gal Blast, Makeshift are all great cards. I am going to take a second to think about this turn real quick. So they have a null. I think I want Refurb to resolve so that I don't die here. But question is, are they going to be baited by this Cryogen Relic? I feel like probably not. I guess I could play Relic. They don't counter that to an annul, and then I Thought Cast. They could also have something else because they just brainstormed. But then I Thought Cast, try to dig for like multiple creatures next turn. I could also just play Refurb. That gets countered, and then I play Glint Hawk as another blocker. I think we're going to take the potentially greedy line and go for the Relic and just hope that they annul that, and they don't. That's kind of what I was worried about. So then I'm not going to Familiar here. I'm just going to Thought Cast. Oh, they did find, it looks like a counterspell. Okay, that's not the worst either. So next turn we can get down, assuming they don't have like another counterspell, we can get down Glint Hawk and Refurb. So I think that your threats are way better. One of my biggest issues with Grixis Affinity is that your threats consist of 4 Refurbs, 4 Enforcers, and like 1 Kenku, maybe Gearseeker Serpent. I guess they've started playing Black Mage's Rod, so that's fair. You have more then. But in general, Black Mage's Rod I think is really good in like a control deck. I'm not the biggest fan of it in like a mid-range deck. More flyers, exactly. So I think more flyers is a big boon for the deck. Okay, so I'm going to have to assume they don't have another counterspell because we're pretty much just dead if they counter both of these. But I could play Glint Hawk first. They countered that. Then I can Refurb, take their last card. And ideally, the Terror is still 1 further and they get stuck with that in hand. I guess they could actually play it at that point. Also 5, 6. If this resolves, I can actually get a Mirror Enforcer down, which is not super relevant against these. I think we go with the Glint Hawk. And maybe it just doesn't get countered because they have an annul. Okay. Well, that's decent. And a Skyfisher. We don't have the white to play the Skyfisher. I think we're going to play that because we have to for a Thought Cast, or I could just play Relic. We're pretty much dead to a removal spell on this. I could play the Refurb, but we know that's going to just eat in a null. I took out Bauble, so that's not an out. I Thought Cast. I'm just trying to think. If we just get another Refurb, that's not going to do anything. I think we just tap out for the Relic here, and if they want to annul it, that's fine. And if they don't, we at least draw a card. But yeah, they do go for it. All right. Well, we're dead to removal, like a Demon Inferior, but that's okay. More flyers is really good. Your Thraben Charm is a phenomenal card. I'm not going to say underrated because it's played in just about every white deck, but The Raven Charm is insane. Spellbomb obviously fills the similar role with Graveyard Hate, but as we know, Masked Vandals and Troublemaker Oofs are everywhere, so they can get the Graveyard Hate. So instant speed Graveyard Hate, really good against Spy. So that's a big boon for it. So I don't know about better sideboard options, but different sideboard options. Dust to Dust just makes you beat basically any other affinity deck in the format, and that's pretty good. Okay, I can play all 3 of these creatures, and I can even play the Refurb twice, which lets us draw a card. That lets us have a blocker and then a double block here. Actually, wait, can I play all these? I'm 5. I cannot double play this. Hello. Please stop being loud. Okay, well, we're playing... Okay, I can't double play the Familiar because then I can't get down the Enforcer. So we'll take their card, play this. We're at 6. So I think we're just playing this, and we're playing Skyfisher, and we're picking up a land because we don't want to pick up a creature because we want them to block. My cat is being a pain, as she often does. Yeah, so more flyers I think is the biggest thing, but also just like your engine. Obviously, Grixis Affinity has a very good engine, but I kind of like the engine better in this. Like, you just keep going with your creatures into your artifacts and things like that. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't necessarily know if it's better than Grixis Affinity. I just think that it is different, and I think it's interesting, and I do think it is very good. Had to step away and into action. Not yet. Have not drawn it. It honestly wouldn't be bad now because we could gain some life. Right now we're just struggling to survive, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. They do have a counter spell. They didn't use that on the Relic. It's annoying. All right. Well, if they draw a removal spell, they take away the Enforcer. We trade with this. We have to chump, but then we can lock this down with the Relic. Okay, Delver's not bad. And is a crime in waiting. I mean, you're not wrong. They have no cards in hand, so I'm not sure that's the best card I could draw right now. Then again, yeah, if they flip this, then I have to trade, and chump, and then I sack this. Yeah, well, hope this doesn't flip. What are the chances? Ooh, okay. We're alive another day. That also just means they drew an island or another creature. I guess another creature would be a bad draw for us, but maybe an island would be good. If they attack, I'm going to assume it's another creature. Okay, we're leaving the Relic. Hoping to draw like a Glint Hawk. Blood Fountain. Oh, that's pretty good. 7 mana. That's perfect mana to play a Glint Hawk and a Refurb. Beautiful. Well, unless they did not flip intentionally, they can't have a counterspell. That works. Get back Glint Hawk and Refurb. Make sure we leave up white and black. Nice. Take their last card, which I assume is an island. Indeed it is. And then Glint Hawk back the Cryogen. I think we're just drawing here. Ooh, all right. Things are happening. Yeah, so going back to Grixis versus Esper here. I think they reveal a terror. I think that you certainly have worse board wipes. I'm playing a Suffocating Fumes main deck as opposed to Clan Shaman. And Makeshift Munitions is really sweet. To be honest, I'll give you a little sneak peek, anyone who's here. I have thrown together a 4-color a 4-color affinity list with white and red, using all of the best of both. And I've not recorded anything with it yet, but I certainly will be. And I'm looking forward to that. I guess we're just trading off this Enforcer here. So they get to kill the Enforcer, and then the next Terror can get through better, is their goal. But I have Cryogen and Glint Hawk to draw out of this. Plus it just gives us enough blockers that I can trade with both of these and have enough to trade with the Terror. And there's another Mirror Enforcer. All right, there's a land, but we have a couple more hits. Relic into a land. Okay, we have a couple more hits. Let's keep it going. Into a Raven's Crime. Yup. Look how good Raven's Crime is, y'all. You really need to be respecting this. Let's ditch a land here. Viscerator's Insight. Okay, I can hold that up. Let's go. I mean, they're quaking in their boots. All right, so here we have Mirror Enforcer block. I kind of want to start getting in for damage. Just how risky is it if I swing like this? Trade, block. If they get a removal spell for the Enforcer, then I have to chump. But then we can lock it down with the Relic. I think we're going to go for it. We also have Eviscerator's Insight, so if they do try to try to Demon Inferior it, then we can at least draw 2. There's a Lorien, but they only have 3 lands, so that's basically just an island that flips this, so I'm okay with it. Also, if they keep it in hand, I will Raven's Crime it away, but they smartly turn it back into an island. Not back. Turn it into an island. All right. Do they attack? Me knowing that they have no tricks. If not, I think we're just going to Insight a land here. I don't want to do the Relic. Yeah, I think we'll just get rid of a land. Raven Charm and Duress. Ooh, look at all this hand attack, y'all. We're really cooking them. Another Mirror Enforcer. 10, 6, 14 damage, so we can't quite kill them here, even if we could remove all their creatures. But I think we're leaving up Thraben Charm, and now we can attack for a bunch. We're going to have 2 Enforcers, so I can attack for 6 here. Still have blockers, plus a Thraben Charm as extra insurance. Play a bridge, and yeah, we'll see what they get. If it's nothing, I can, I think, just blitz them next turn. Swing with the Aberrations. I will block. I'm too smart for them. They have another Terror. So I just shoot a Terror and I can attack in for a 10 now. So let's do that. Boom. All right. First match, 2-0. Looking nice. No ninjas, unfortunately, but we'll get there. Don't you worry. I mean, this deck is, it's just so good. I just love everything about it. So I might have said this a couple other places, but Glint Hawk, Glint Blade, Orzhov Glintblade is like one of my favorite decks. It's one that I've been playing, one I've had in paper for a while, one I've been playing for a while. But I've always just felt like its card draw package was subpar because it was playing Deadly Disputes usually. When that was not banned, now it plays Fanatical Offerings. But you don't really have anything you want to sacrifice that much, right? You're not playing Ichor Wellsprings, and your creatures are all important to be your threats, and your artifacts are all important to pick up and put back down. Now, obviously, if you have multiple Tithing Blades and no Hawks in hand, it's not a big deal to sacrifice one, but there are a lot of situations where you don't want to just sacrifice an artifact because it's your only one, or maybe it's your only one of that type, like sacrificing a Bauble. Maybe you want that Bauble later. And then you have to play Thraben Inspectors and Novice Inspectors. And I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that this might be one of my hotter takes. Inspector's not a great card. Neither one of them. They're okay cards. And I think in White Weenie, they're pretty good. But in any other deck, I would prefer just about any other card. They are mediocre threats in both Boros and Orzhov Glintblade. And they're mediocre card draw, because it's 2 more mana later. They're fine cards. They're better than a lot of other cards, and they're okay in some decks, especially if you're trying out like a Lux Knight Breacher deck or something where you specifically want multiple artifacts and creatures. They were fantastic cards in All That Glitters decks because those wanted you to have early creatures, especially for ninjas, and as well as artifacts. So they're good in certain decks, but the decks that play them now, Boros and Orzhov, you'd rather play just about anything else. So now we have great card draw, and we have enough cards, now there were 3 colors, we can play Mirror Enforcers, that we don't have to play substandard threats like Inspectors. I don't love it either. It's the fine, but 2 mana for 1 draw is kind of meh. Yeah, exactly. It's. I'm not saying it's the worst card ever, but I think people like them a little too much sometimes. All right. This hand's decent. I mean, we're going to keep this one. We're definitely missing blue, but this just looks like a solid Orzhov hand, and I don't mind that. Ideally, we're against something where Tithing Blade's going to be pretty effective, but if not, we can just get rid of it with an Insight or whatever. All right, we're starting on Blood Fountain. They also say they're a fan, which is pretty cool. Forest. Okay. Ooh, we get some pretty fast Enforcers. I can't quite put them out this turn, but I do just get to go refurb here. Forest tells me probably Spy, especially if they didn't play anything on turn 1, but often they land grant on turn 1, but they don't need to do that. That definitely looks like Spy to me. Yeah, really unfortunate we can't get down Enforcers this turn. I mean, obviously, turn 2 Enforcers is crazy, but we could definitely get them down next turn. Maybe not. The Vandal. Yeah, taking the Vault of Whispers. That is brutal. Yep. Okay, so we're going to have to use the blood token here to get rid of something because it hurts our affinity count, but we just need to find another land, unfortunately. Tithing Blade is decent against them. It's not amazing, seeing as they have this guy. Do I just pitch an Enforcer? I kind of want the speed if we get up to that. I think it's going to be the Tithing Blade. Pachuca Bog. That would have been helpful after we made them discard. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to play it. So yeah. Definitely playing against Spy. Not a great matchup for us, but we do have 2 Thraben's main, 2 more on the side. And, oh, it looks like Elves Spy with Priests. Okay. That lets us use, like, Arms of Hadar and stuff, so that's not bad. That's a good draw. Also, we do have a Skyfisher that we can use to pick up this Pachuca Bog if we need. We're at 4 artifacts again. I can't get down Enforcer. Problem is, I could just do Skyfisher for the Blood Fountain. That means I have a 4-turn clock in the air. Plus, I can replay the Blood Fountain for 5 artifacts. I can get down 1 Enforcer next turn. It's either that or I Insight the Blood Fountain, but then we're never getting to these Enforcers, so I think that's the play. They're also only at 3 cards in hand. Maybe bouncing the refurb is the play, but we can't even replay it this turn, so we lose pressure. They're a graveyard-oriented deck, so it could just help them, and 3 cards is still a lot for Spy, so I'm not convinced that's the way to go. Timberwatch Elf, pretty decent. Then I'll lead the Stampede. Okay, Timberwatch, Vindhorn, Generous Ent, Sagu. That's a lot of stuff. We do run that Suffocating Fumes main deck, so if we could get that to kill the elves, that would be pretty good. But now they have 2 Timberwatches, so that's pretty annoying. Artifact land is good, because that lets us go 6. That lets us play both Enforcers, but we're kind of just dying to these guys right now. Even so, we will attack, play this, that's 4. Yeah, I have to play the Blood Fountain to get the Enforcers down, which I think is what we want to do anyway, and we'll pass. I mean, these guys are pretty much just chump blockers, because they can't really attack in, and also they have enough damage to kill us pretty quick here. This is plus 12, and that's now plus 21. If they just attack with all 3 of these, we just die, I think. We're playing something else it looks like, though. They untap this. They just have the Nyxborn Hydra. That's going to kill us, too. Well, show me the Hydra, and that'll be it. All right, there it is. For 15, it gets trample, and then they have a bunch of tap. We don't have anything for 1 mana in our deck at instant speed that's going to change that. So they got game 1. The fact that they're elves is better than them being walls, because it means we can play Arms of Hadar, and Thraben Charm is also more beneficial because it can blow up a Nyxborn Hydra in that situation. These other cards are not very useful, though, and Bauble is better. So a lot of benefits. Suffocating Fumes is good here, too. Raven's Crime's honestly not terrible in this matchup if we just get to take a bunch of their cards. I think we're just cutting compasses, and unfortunately I don't think this is one that the Ambusher is going to shine in, so I'm gonna cut that. And Blood Fountain is really only good to get out the Enforcers quickly, otherwise it's kind of a waste. So I think we're gonna cut that. Hello, can you stop screaming? All right, so we're gonna try that. We get to hold up Thraben Charms. They're going to probably have Mesmeric Fiends, so that's something to worry about. We also have a lot of board wipes now, so we'll hopefully be okay. Here is Nerys, the bane of my existence. All right, we're on the play here. Decent mana, Thraben, Thoughtcast. This hand's good enough. We're not sending it back. I don't think it's incredible. One of the issues with this type of a deck is, of course, there's 3 colors, so Master Vandal is going to hurt a lot more. You want to, for that reason, kind of hide your important colors, or rather the colors that you only have 1 of. So like I'd like to play this bridge on like late in case they get a Vandal on turn 2, and in this case I think I can afford it. Since it's white, most of our white spells like our Glint Hawks and our Core Skyfishers don't need to come down on curve, they come down later. And Thraben Charm is also not something we need right now, so we don't have anything to play this turn anyway. Even if we had the white source, we could hold up a Thraben Charm, but that's kind of irrelevant, so we'll play the bridge. Same bridge, that if they Master Vandal us here, they don't get our only white source. Now this does mean that my white source isn't going to be online as quickly as I might otherwise like it to be, but it's just the risk you got to take a little bit. Refurb's a great draw here, because that lets us Thoughtcast as well. Oh, I guess I have to put a land down first. Now white is becoming pretty important, because we might want to like Thraben Charm a creature, so we're gonna have to play it here, refurb them, and then Thoughtcast. But ideally, if they do take this, we can just draw into another one. Also, they didn't have the Vandal right away, so maybe they just won't have it at all. And another refurb and a Thoughtcast. So making them discard's not amazing, because they don't mind discarding cards. However, if you can just hit them with like multiple discards in the same turn, Raven's Crime, or if you can like refurb Glinthawk Refurb, then it can still be pretty decent, especially if they go low on cards. So, you know, my favorite thing for them to do here would be to just like throw out 4 random dorks that don't matter, and then me take their last 2 cards. There's 1 dork, but chances are they're also just gonna like Timberwatch or lead the Stampede, which is gonna fill up their hand even more and make it harder to do that with a bunch of random dorks that they don't mind discarding. Yeah, the Mystic. All right, now we really need to find one of our board wipes. So I think we're going to play a Seat and then Thoughtcast, because if we don't really draw anything relevant, I'm probably still going to do refurb, Glinthawk Refurb. And we don't really find anything relevant. So we're going to swing. Let's see, we're at 5 artifacts here. I could also just play a Mirror Enforcer, which might be good for pressure, because making them discard 1 more card is kind of irrelevant. If I want to keep up pressure, I don't even have to Glinthawk back a refurb. I could just play Enforcer, Glinthawk back a land, and then, or I could hold up Thraben Charm if I want to be really safe about it, but we don't really have enough going on that I don't like that, really. They did discard a land, so they only have probably 1 or 2 more lands in their deck. They don't currently have black mana, though. If we tap out, they could just Spy and we lose. Problem is, if we don't tap out, we waste our mana here, and then they just play Timberwatch, and then we're in a bad spot. So I think we're just going to play these guys and go for the aggression, and hope we don't lose this turn, and then have Thraben Charm from then on. But I think that's going to be necessary. Some people were suggesting in the Discord Fairy Macabre, of course, instead of Thraben Charm, since that's a big one. people have been playing. Obviously, Fairy Macabre being free is great. We could tap out here and have no fear. Generally, I think Thraben Charm is better because it has multiple uses, though. I can shoot this, or I could shoot this Generous Scent if I really want, which I think I do. Now, if I do it and then they go for the combo, we lose. But we know they have 1 Elves in their hand. They do have a 4th Forest on the field. I think we're just going for the aggro. So here's another Enforcer, because we have like a 2-ish turn clock here, but this Generous Scent stops that. And they have not shown me, I mean, they could just have the swamp or like a way to find it, and then they top deck a spy or whatever, but like, that's the risk we're taking. And then to have lethal in the air, we're just going to play a Skyfisher. And here I don't need to pick up a land, because I can actually just pick up a Mirror Enforcer because it's free. Then we don't set ourselves back on a land. We still have all of our attackers. So we're taking a chance again here. They do actually have the food to not die to the flyers, which is fair. And we have nothing in hand. We have 2 Enforcers to eat some guys. I don't know. I can't say I'm the best pilot against a spy deck, because they are very difficult to deal with. The safest thing is just leave up the Thraben Charm forever. And honestly, if it's Spy Walls, I probably do that, because Spy Walls, I would say like 80% of the time their goal is to combo, and then only 20% of the time is their goal to pivot and just play out guys. And I'm fine with it when they do, because they're, defenders don't attack. And then with Elves, I feel like it's almost more like 60-40 trying to go like combo versus go for attacks, because you have like Timberwatch Elves and things like that. Think Spy gets a ban? No, I do not think so. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Spy decks, so I wouldn't hate if it got a ban. But I don't think it's at that point. There's a lot of graveyard hate. Fairy Macabre being an entirely free piece is great. Obviously, Relics and Spellbombs already see, and Thraben Charm see play, if not main deck, in sideboards of basically every single deck. And then you have other free versions like Tormod Script and stuff. I don't think it's good enough to get a ban. It is a very good deck, but I don't think it's quite there. What do you think about the Food Pestilence deck? I think that deck looks pretty sweet. I was actually going to try it for a video. Actually, I did try it for a video. I recorded it, and then I accidentally did not have my audio on for one of the most important matches. And so then I did not play the deck again, and maybe we'll get there, but I have not. I'm trying to figure out what to do here, because I could attack with everybody. They could eat a flyer, eat an Enforcer, chump an Enforcer, or just food. They don't die. They take like 10-ish. They can only eat 2 of our guys. Yeah, I think we attack. Yeah, Food Pestilence. I think that Cauldron Familiar is a really sweet card. I think Pestilence is a pretty cool card. I think they work great together, and the fact that we finally have, I think a lot of people were like, Nutrient Block just doesn't look any good at all. Because it's basically Candy Trail that doesn't scry, and they were not putting enough weight on the fact that you just sack it to anything and you get the card draw, which is why like Chromatic Star is a phenomenal card in Affinity or whatever, because you can just sacrifice it to I don't honestly love it in Affinity, but it's fine in Affinity or Tron or anything, because it can make your colored mana, but also it can just sacrifice to anything and you draw more cards. And the fact that Nutrient Block you can just sacrifice to a Cauldron Familiar, still get your card, is really strong. So I certainly don't think it's like going to be meta deck or anything at this point, but like I think it's pretty reasonable. I mean, I'm not going to say a tier. I feel like tiers are all made up and arbitrary. Like sometimes I hear people say that like anything off meta is a tier 2 or less, and sometimes tier 1, 2, and 3 are all different levels of meta decks, and then anything that's off meta or a brew is like tier 4 essentially. So I don't really know what the tiers mean, but I think it can be a pretty good deck, and as long as you know how to play a good control game, I think you can definitely get some wins with it. All right, they crack all their food. They eat this like anticipated. Chump 1, and they go to 8, but now no food. I mean, still not a great spot. Colony Garden and Golgari Rot Farm, so cool. Also can play Raven's Crime. Yes. I mean, Golgari Gardens is the main deck that I think Raven's Crime in general shines in, although I think it's great in this deck. Because, yeah, you get to play Rot Farms, you get to play like 22-ish lands with it not feeling bad. Lands or land cyclers or whatever. And so Raven's Crime is just incredible in that too. Actually seems like a sick Raven's Crime deck. Yeah, I mean, I've done Raven's Crime in variations of Golgari Gardens decks a couple times on the channel. And I don't know if the Pestilence deck I was playing, I just ripped a list, so I don't think I had a Raven's Crime in it. But yes, absolutely, I think throwing one in there could be good. I'll probably try to take it for another league, or maybe we would even do that on stream. Probably not. That's a really slow control deck, and I don't want to embarrass myself by timing out or anything. But yeah, it's probably one I'll get a video around at some point. Although I think Kerblinski did a video of it already, so it's not one that I feel like I have to because nobody's represented it at all. They play a Wildling. Okay, things are getting annoying now. That attack looking a little worse. I guess my best draws are obviously at this point like draw spells, right? Thoughtcast, Relic, but specifically that into like double removal. I could take these out and have a 2-turn clock. That could be pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. They have an elf, and they're just going aggro and gonna pump. I guess that's 12 damage, and then next turn, I don't have enough blockers. They can probably do lethal next turn, and I don't have lethal on board right now, even if I do find removal. Yeah, that seems pretty smart of them. I've drawn a little poorly, but as said, I also just don't think our deck is super set up against them. I guess if we find an Arms of Hadar, then we can wipe everything but these two. That's probably our best draw. Actually, Relic is not bad because I can keep this tapped, which means we don't die next turn. I guess I should do this just in case. All right. If we get something good off of this, we can survive. Raven Charm's not bad. That can just remove the Timberwatch, which means they don't have amazing attacks anymore because suddenly I mean, double block here is not great. I mean, they are... I haven't actually seen any reason. Is it possible they're not even Spy Combo? Did I just assume they were Spy Combo because of Wildling? They might just be elves with Wildlings, because I don't think I've actually seen any reason that they would have to be combo. Okay, in which case maybe I should play this more like an Elves deck. Yeah, an Elves deck, and actually just kill this elf. And then if they attack with this, I'd have to triple block. I guess I keep the Ent tapped here, and then I shoot this. Yeah, I don't love having to crack the Relic here, but I think we're in a kind of bad spot if we don't. So let's just do it first, see what we draw. Enforcer might be one of our better draws. Seed of the Synod's probably one of our worst draws. All right, so they can attack for 3, and these guys. So I'm gonna shoot this. Yeah, so let's just attack with the Enforcer here. This is when they whip out the combo because I suddenly stopped treating it like a combo deck. They chump, that's not bad, and then kill the Timberwatch Elf. So like theoretically, using the charm here, like if I thought they were still combo, I probably would have just cryogened the Timberwatch and then held up the Thraben Charm, but yeah, I don't know. I think I assumed based off the Wildling and the fact that just in general, a forest with no land often, or no creature, often makes me think that, but Bauble's not bad. I could attack with the Flyers. If they block, which they probably will, I can pick that off. So I get in for 4, they're at 7, and I have this as a blocker, but then I have to chump here, which I don't love. I could, of course, just pick off Priest of Titania. They still have 7 mana, though, so like a, what's it's called? A Hydra off the top is still 5, so I have to block, and it's almost lethal. Not quite, but I don't love having to chump. I think we just take out the Priest, and then this will let us surveil. They tap for 4 in response. Okay. I don't know if that's for a reason or just, yeah, classic. We're not attacking here. Keep playing our lands. I will say probably the main tension point with Raven's Crime in the deck is that you are so mana hungry that I think you should still almost always play all of your lands unless you're against like a High Tide where the Raven's Crime could just win you the game. And so now if we draw Raven's Crime, we've been playing our lands, it's not as good. But also our opponent currently only has 2 cards in hand. Maybe they lead the Stampede and Winding Way and then build up a bunch, and it'd be nice to have more cards in hand, but like it's much more likely that we'll top deck a Thoughtcast into a Relic, into a Glint Hawk, and we'll want as much mana as possible. They have a Masked Vandal. That's pretty good. Enforcer, I would bet, because then they could just attack with impunity with this Ent. Plus the Wildling, I still have to like trade 2 of these for. There's nothing I can surveil that's going to change this. If I had like 8 mana, I could Grimbauble to maybe surveil an Eviscerator's Insight and then sacrifice it, which I would do if I had 8, but no reason to do that now. Yeah, so I have to block something here. They do attack with these guys. Yeah, I guess I can only eat 1 of them before I start trading. Well, we're going to sack the Bauble before blocks to know what's coming and figure out what we'd like to do based on that. Because if we get an Arms of Hadar here, I don't need to worry about the elves, right? Cast down an Insight. I did have an Insight, just not the mana for it. I mean, I'm probably leaving Insight on top first, cracking like a land, and then drawing the Cast down, which kills an Ent. Yeah, so these are both going on top. So I have to chump the Ent no matter what. So that's there. I might as well eat an elf. We're taking 5, which means we're at 3. The next turn, I draw 2, I cast this down, I block here, and I still have 3. No, because I have this as well. So I'm not dead if I don't chump here, which means I can hold this for something else. Yeah, I think this is our best bet. And hope that our 3rd card down is something pretty good too. We are just going to sack now because it could be something that we need to play right away. So we get cast down and Suffocating Fumes, that's not bad. And I can cast both. So if they attack in, I can cast down the Ent, Suffocating Fumes these away, eat the Vandal, and trade with this. That's phenomenal. Okay. We have a shot here, actually. We need them to keep drawing poorly, but those were great draws. Oh, what do they got on the end step? Like a Deglammer? That'd be so bad. Don't do it. Heritage Reclamation. I'm still not dead, but that is annoying. It means that I don't get to trade with the Wildling, or that I don't get to eat the Masked Vandal, and then I lose my Glint Hawk, both of which seem bad. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh, and they got like a Nyxborn Hydra, a Wildling. Well, part of me is saying maybe I should have Suffocating Fumes before they could tap out, but I was never going to do that because then I wouldn't attack with everything. So cast down the Ent, Suffocating, board. Problem is I can eat this Vandal, I take 2, I go to 1, but then I have 2 3/3s that I can't deal with this Glint Hawk. So I think I have to trade here. This doesn't kill us, so I just need to deal with the Wildling. So yeah, if we still had our refurb, it would be way better, but we're not in a terrible spot. Goldmire Bridge is pretty bad, though, so we're just going to Eviscerate his Insight, hope to draw something good. Mirror Enforcer does not do it, as it cannot block flying. So we are dead. That was kind of a close game. We almost got there with that really good top deck, but unfortunately we did not. Yeah, definitely a tough one. I haven't played against the Elves version a lot. I'm saying that like I think it's still Spy. I think it's just Elves. Some reason it's still stuck in my mind as Spy. But yeah, we didn't see a single Arms of Hadar. We did find the Suffocating. It was a good time to find it, but it could have been a lot better earlier. And I don't think we drew particularly well. We did get a lot of lands and didn't see a Raven's Crime, which feels unfair. If we're going to get so many lands, we should at least get the Crime. The least they could do. All right, on the play with a bit of an awkward one. Mana is always a bit of an issue, but we have a lot of ways to find black mana. We have, I think, 10 sources in the main deck, not to mention 2 compasses. We have a lot of card draw in blue. I don't think this is a hand you really ship away unless we knew that we were against something that like the being slow would like hurt. If I know I'm against mono red, I might not keep this. And the fact that, you know, Thraben Charm and Skyfisher both are not amazing by themselves. It's not an amazing hand. But I also don't like shipping away 3 land 4 spell hands, especially when a couple of them are castable. Naturally, we are against red, but we also get potentially the best top deck, other than maybe a black source. Cryogen Relic gives us turn 2 and 3 plays. They do bolt us, and Thoughtcast isn't bad either. They got a Faithless Looting and a Fiery Temper. Red Madness, I presume. Finding a Compass would be good. Finding a Black Source would be good too. We get a Glint Hawk. I was obviously just going to Skyfisher. I could Glint Hawk and Thoughtcast here with the bridge. Now if I Skyfisher the Relic, I could find a tapped Black Source, which I could get down. By playing the bridge, I don't get it down this turn, but it also lets me play the Thoughtcast, which allows me to dig further for Compass and things like that. Although we're also going to draw 2 off the Relic, 2 off the Thoughtcast. That's going to put us at 8 cards, isn't it? Yeah, because we're only going to play these 3, and we're going to put this in hand, draw 1. Yeah, so that's actually going to make us discard. For that reason, I'm going to go with the Skyfisher route. Otherwise, I was leaning the other way. But if we're lucky, we get like a Black Source here, or the opposite. That is fine too. I mean, having these is not bad, and Thraben Charm for if they like put down a Gutter Snipe here, but they're not doing us much good at the moment. Also, I would like to hold up a Thraben Charm for like a Sneaky Snacker at some point, but in this deck, unfortunately, you kind of just have to tap out a lot early. Ooh, I do like that they're Fiery Tempering our Skyfisher. Not only is that 3 damage not at us, but it also probably indicates that they are not, like, don't have the best cards in hand, and they're trying to survive, which is a good sign. I'm not going to Thoughtcast for 2 here, which means even though I do kind of want to draw 2, but I can also do that by doing Relic and Glint Hawk. We're probably going to have to discard here, just based on the fact that we're not hitting our lands yet. But if we're lucky, we draw, like, Vault of Whispers, and we can play a Refurb. I need to stop asking for black sources, because they're going to keep giving us cast downs, apparently. Well, we are definitely discarding if we don't hit a land here. And that is pretty unfortunate. We could run quite a few lands. What are we getting rid of? I think we get rid of 1 cast down. We already have a lot of removal, and there's no guarantee it's going to work, not to mention the fact that we don't have black mana. Even if we find black mana, we only have 1, so I might just get rid of another cast down. I feel like Thraben Charm plus Blade currently is going to be able to deal with whatever creatures they play. Well, if they play Epicure into Gutter Snipe, Tithing Blade's going to be worse, but at least I could still Thraben Charm it. They do discard a mountain here. Yeah, this is not as scary as it could be. Problem is, we're still just digging for lands here, and I can't really go on the offensive now that they have any creature at all. Unless I have if I play a Skyfisher. Actually, Ancient Den is nice, because now I can play Relic and Skyfisher. We're still trying to find that black source, though, so we're just going to start with the Relic. Bojuka Bog doesn't have any utility, but we just need the black source. So I think we can just play that and Thoughtcast. Thoughtcast first, just in case we get, like, another black source, like a Vault. No, I could Ancient Den, Glint Hawk, but yeah, we just need black going. And again, we're going to have to discard. I'm not going to get rid of a land. Hello? Mere Enforcer is honestly our quickest way to win the game here. I think Tithing Blade is irrelevant at this point, or at least the least relevant of our cards. All right, they have a Faithless Looting. There's a Snacker. Couldn't have done that before we Bojuka Bogged. Flash it back. I mean, they are definitely a little desperate. We still have a shot here. There's a Lava Dart. Okay. And we have a refurb. We only have one black mana because they're at 3 cards. I would love to just refurb them twice here. That's not going to happen, though. So we have 5 artifacts with this Ancient Den, 6 with the refurb. Then I can play Enforcer for 1, another Enforcer. We still have 3 mana, and I can pick up the Relic. Or I could just exile their graveyard. Well, we're going to have some creatures down, so we can finally attack for 2. I'm going to refurb first and see if they want to discard something that I can get rid of. Another Lava Dart. I think we're going to take their graveyard then. So, yeah, 6 artifacts. Let's just exile this now. If they want to sack some lands, that's great. Not a problem with that. And then we get down 2 Enforcers and we can still Glint Hawk. And now suddenly we have, what is that? 14 damage on board? Okay, they do Lava Dart. That's fair. I was going to say, oh, maybe I should have exiled their graveyard before I did that, but they also discarded the dart with that guy, so that's pretty irrelevant. Oh, that does mean we can't play the Enforcers. I could play 1, but not 2, and that's worse. Okay, well, you got me a little bit. I still think we're in a pretty good spot. 13 life, and they only have 2 cards in hand. Pick up the Relic, and Blood Fountain's going to ensure the Enforcers come down next turn. So I think that's pretty good. They do have a Grab the Prize and a Fiery Temper. Going face, well, I kind of wish that they attacked the Skyfisher, because 8 life is a big difference. Epicure, we're at 7, they have 1 card. Hey, Ben, we got that Ambusher, and it's honestly going to be pretty good gaining 3 here, I think. That means we're not playing Blood Fountain. We are, in fact, ambushing back the Glint Hawk, and then we have 5 artifacts. I can play the Relic, then I can play the Enforcers. All right, hit him with the Ninja. They'll never see this coming. Boom. Ambusher down. I mean, this could save our life right here. That 3 life, that's a whole Lightning Bolt hit. And now we get a Relic, and we get a Thoughtcast. I could get really greedy with a Thoughtcast. If we hit any artifact land, I get down both my Enforcers. I don't think that's necessary, and I think I'd just like to get these guys down to finish this off so that we don't die to burn. They have another Grab the Prize with a Flame Breather. I mean, they're drawing all the draw 2s and a Flame Breather, which we don't currently have a removal spell for. So theoretically, if they have a Fire Blast, I'm at 3. Oh, and they concede? Well, that's crazy. I was going to Glint Hawk back the Ambusher and then re-ninja with the Skyfisher, so we go back up to 11, but I was not expecting the concession there. We were gonna draw that and then Thoughtcast into these 2. The Thoughtcast last turn would not have worked. And we can see, okay, well, we got there. Ninja keeping us alive. This is a match where we get a lot of things. We get 4 Blue Blasts. We get Navigator's Compass. I honestly like Duress against Madness Burn. They often sandbag a Fire Blast till the very end, so that can be really important. And also, if you have it on turn 2, you can just take their draw 2, assuming they only have 1, and that can keep a Snacker off the field. Fumes has some utility, but I don't think it's good enough. Raven's Crime, I don't hate, but we have so many cards to bring in that I usually just gotta cut it. Same with the Tithing Blade. They can catch like a turn 2 Casting Flame Breather, but sometimes they play an Epicure first and then it's bad, or like a Snacker. Blood Fountains, I generally cut. They go too fast. That, yes, they can power out Enforcers, but generally we're not ever actually cracking it. Eviscerator's Insight's also pretty slow. There's also something to be said about Thraben Charm. We're bringing in so many cards that it's kind of tough to keep them in, but they can exile Snackers from the bin, and they can kill Gutter Snipes. Cast Down can also kill a Gutter Snipe, but I think the chances that I have a single creature to kill a Gutter Snipe or 2 creatures to kill a Casting Flame Breather are pretty high. Now, obviously, they could remove in response. I think we're take out a Cast Down. If I really wanted to, I could bring in all the charms over the Cast Downs. That might be a little ambitious. I think maybe 2 and 2 is a good spot to be at. And I didn't say anything about it, but I like Grim Bauble because it can pick off an early Snacker just to save you a little bit of life, or it can kill a Gutter Snipe. Obviously not at instant speed, but it can kill it nevertheless for pretty cheap, or it can even kill a Flame Breather over the course of, not over the course of 2 turns, obviously, with a Glint Hawk or something like that. His hand looks pretty reasonable. Gonna hope not to get cast into the fire, but we have a Blue Blast, which is really nice. We can go turn 2 Refurb or Relic, probably the Relic, but definitely depends on what they've done. They do Mulligan, which helps a little bit. Ancient Den's a nice pickup. We just want to hit our land drops, especially if they do take this away. As mentioned before, it's nice sometimes to sandbag your sources that you only have one of, like this blue one. But it's a tap land, and I don't have anything to play on turn 1, or really, I mean, turn 2 I could refurb with these, but like, we gotta get the bridge down. If they get rid of it, so be it. Just gotta hope that's not the case. They plot a highway robbery. That's good. So holding up a Blue Blast for the robbery is always nice, but honestly, getting a robbery is only a 1-for-1 because they don't have to discard until they cast it. So it's obviously better for a grab the prize, but also unless we get like a 1-drop here, I'm not gonna want to hold up the Blue Blast. Or I guess if we get a tap land. Oh, we do get a 1-drop. That's a really good pickup, actually. I still don't think I'm going to hold up the Blue Blast this turn, but it does allow me to play it and the Refurb, gain 3 life, and then also I can pick it up with the Glint Hawks and the Skyfishers if I would like. Like next turn I might pick it up, replay it with the Glint Hawk, and then hold up Blue Blast. That's not bad. They are really not sure whether to let it resolve or not, but I don't think they have the red foil, so it finally resolves. Familiar, of course, also can be awkward if they discard a snacker here and then they highway robbery another snacker away. You just gotta hope that doesn't happen. I mean, I could have just Glint Hawked the Navigator's Compass back right here. They discard a Pyroblast, though. Not bad at all, seeing as we have some cards that make that relevant. They do cast Robbery, and they have the snacker. They either just drew it, or they didn't want to discard it to the Familiar. They didn't have 2, so it doesn't really matter. They would have had to discard something else to the Robbery, so fair enough. And they Searing Blaze the Familiar. Okay, that is annoying. Not the worst thing ever. We probably want to pick up this Compass anyway, but don't love losing my guy. Bridge is not bad, just because we can use the mana. I kind of want to leave up Blue Blast here, but I also kind of want to use my Skyfisher so it blocks a snacker, which I can do. I guess I think I just do that. Skyfisher, pick up the Compass, kind of televises it with the fact that I'm not going to replay the Compass, but I almost don't hate that because like if they don't cast anything because of it, then like that's pretty good too. If they just bolt this, I think I let it go. Looting is tough. I think I'll let it go. Like if they Fiery Temper this, it's fine, but like I didn't want a Searing Blaze or like a Gutter Snipe or anything. I do have the Temper, and they have a Dart in the yard now. Yeah, it's usually worth it to counter the Faithless, so I maybe should have just done it. I guess if I counter this, I can still hold back the Snacker, or they have to use another Bolt. It means we don't have any removal currently for the Gutter Snipe, but I think I'll do it. Alright, they have another Bolt, so be it. 2 cards in hand, and just a snacker on the field. They do have a Lava Dart and a Faithless in the grave, which is relevant. I wouldn't hate a Bajuka Bog here. Cryogen. So it's always tough. You kind of have to make a decision between gaining life and drawing cards in these situations, but I think right now we want to draw cards because 3 life is not stopping like what they're doing that much. And I mean, the Glint Hawk is going to stop the snacker either way. Ooh, Dress isn't bad. Hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, we're just going to Glint Hawk back the Relic, and we get a seat. I could just play the Compass with that, but I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think we're going to die this turn, so the life isn't relevant, and then we don't have mana to tap it, so I might as well get down a bridge. I guess if we trade, they just Faithless Looting. Maybe it's not great. They have a Highway Robbery. They're doing it before attacks, so I assume it's got to be like a Fiery Temper? No, discard a Searing Blaze. Okay. I guess they didn't have a land drop for us, so Searing Blaze was only 1 damage. Feels like you might want to attack first before you do that. Now I could block. They have a Faithless in the yard, so even if I duress them, I can't ensure this doesn't come back. I think we still do it, though. We're certainly the control deck here, if we can just survive. Skyfisher's not bad. Let's just start with a Relic. See what we draw. Glint Hawk. All right, I think we're going to duress them. Try to take something away. Fire Blast and Fiery Temper. Well, that's a tough choice. I think I'll take the Fire Blast this time. And then, so next turn they have a Faithless Looting. If they don't get a land, they won't be able to Fiery Temper, though. They will get a Snacker back, and they have a Lava Dart. I think that's fine. Let's just get down the Skyfisher. We're still at a high enough life total. I think I just want to draw cards right now. Another Compass isn't terrible. They get an Epicure. Well, that lets them do the Fiery Temper. It also lets them get the Snacker in the bin before they Faithless if they want to do that. But no, they go for the Temper. They take out the Skyfisher. They know they're in for a long one here, which is going to favor us. They do get a Mountain. Snacker's their last card in hand. Yeah, things are going pretty well here, I think. Relic, Duress, I know their hand, so we get to Compass, then get the Enforcer down, then we get to Glint Hawk back the Relic, and I guess best draw is like a Thoughtcast or something here. Your Enforcer's not bad either. Play that and play another Compass. Alright, let's see if they can deal with this. If not, we have about a 2-turn clock on them. There's the Faithless Looting. Definitely pitch in this Snacker, unless they draw, I don't know, Fiery Temper and a Lava Dart, I guess, that they'd prefer to in the bin. Snacker and a Mountain. I'll probably Duress them this turn. Chances are they drew at least one spell, and if it's like a Fire Blast or something, then, well, just one card in hand, I don't know, maybe we'll leave it. Alright, and they concede. Took that one down in a pretty good spot there. We were going to draw a couple of lands. Fair enough. We're going to probably try to finish up the league. It is getting a little late for me. Got some other stuff to do tonight, but depending on how fast this one goes, we'll do at least one more. Howdy, I saw the post that you got a 5-0 with Esper Affinity. Was wondering what the thought was behind the one of Raven's Crime in the deck. Thank you for the question. The thought is that I've been getting very flooded with the deck. Well, both I've been getting flooded and having to mulligan 1 land hands. So originally I went up to 21 lands and threw in the Raven's Crime. The reason is that we have so much card draw in the deck. 4 Thoughtcasts, 4 Cryogen Relics. I'm up now to 2 Eviscerator's Insights, as well as playing all of our Skyfishers and Glint Hawks, which can buy back the relics. This hand's a little awkward. We're on the play, but I think we'll give it a try. And so we draw a lot of cards, and there are many games where we draw so many cards, and we get 1 million lands. I also tweeted a couple days ago, post, our opponents at 4 cards, of me with literally 7 lands in hand playing this deck, as well as like 6 or 7 lands on the battlefield. We just draw so many lands in this deck. And so we're also a very controlling deck. We are kind of mid-range still, but we're definitely control mid-range. And so a 1 of Raven's Crime, you don't really want more than 1 of it, because if you draw a second one, it's pretty much useless. But just having 1, we're not drawing well. Just having 1 to hit your opponent to make them discard 2 or 3 or 4 cards if you have the right number of lands in hand can just be backbreaking. And it's especially good against any sort of blue deck, because what are they going to do? Counter it? Then they've lost a card just as if they had not countered it, right? So it's really good against High Tide. It basically just wins you the game. It's great against fairies, and that's okay. It's great against fairies. It's great against terror, especially like Is It and Dimir terrors, control decks, like anything like that it's great against. But it's also honestly not bad against any sort of like some aggro decks. Like I usually side it out against like a Red Madness, but in the first game against Madness, if you're able to take just 3 of their cards when they're at like 4 cards, then they just run out of gas so quickly, because all of the burn decks right now, most of them, Madness, Red Madness and Rakdos Madness, are reliant on cards in their hand, and so being able to take them all away is really strong. So somebody, well actually Ben Fraley in the chat suggested it last time we were streaming, and it was something I threw in the deck, and it has been phenomenal. So I would highly suggest you give it a try and see how you like it. All right, we have to get this Compass down because we need black. Question is, do I just refurb them? Because I kind of want to take their cards. They're missing on land drops. They do have this map, but they want to save it until they find other thing, one of these. And then next turn I could refurb them again. Removal's pretty irrelevant right now. I could just Skyfisher for the relic. That's probably better because it's more mana efficient, and I do need to hit more lands, especially black sources. So we'll just do this. Raven Charm, not bad. I assume this is Flickertron. So you're mostly playing it because the deck doesn't need big piles of mana, so the lands eventually become redundant. Any other cards that could potentially do the same job worth testing? Also, would you play it without the massive card draw, just as a way to get rid of lands in general? The first part you said, they have a refractor. First part you said, the deck doesn't need big piles of mana. I would say that's not quite true. This deck can use so much mana, because even if you're like top decking, if you top deck a Thoughtcast into a Cryogen Relic, into a Glint Hawk, you replay the Relic, like you could use 12 mana instantly with the right draws. It's just that you can't deploy the lands fast enough, that sometimes they all get stuck in your hand, and so having an alternative use for them is really effective. Okay, we only have 1 black source, so I guess we're just playing a relic here. Skyfisher. Okay, well, we'll play a refurb. They're still missing on lands, which is nice. Swamp. Our opponent also seems to be interested, because they asked, how did Raven's Crime do for you? Honestly, it would be... We don't have the lands to support it right now, or the black sources. But in general, in this matchup against Tron, I would love to have it. Okay, so here we just want to go fast. They discarded a Stonehorn. So let's see. That was the first part of your question. The other part. Okay, I'm gonna actually play the Skyfisher. I want to just get these guys on the field and make sure they don't have enough time to come back. So I'm gonna pick up a land, replay it, then play the Skyfisher to get more aggro on the field. Any other cards that could potentially do the same job worth testing? Other cards that could utilize a bunch of extra cards in our hand. Opponent. Sorry, trying to focus on everything. How well does this deck do versus mono red, if you don't mind me asking? Honestly, it's been not bad. It's kind of 50-50, I think. Compass is great for life gain. Removal for Gutter Snipe. Suffocating Fumes. I'm just telling them everything in our deck, but oh well. They're being nice about it. Suffocating Fumes for Rally. We pick up the Relic, and then we will see what we draw. Okay, and they just concede for that game one. So Flickertron. Graveyard Hate is good. Duress is good. They do usually play like a one-of Breath Weapon, which Blue Elemental Blast could be good for, but obviously it's a one-of. They usually have a couple teachings to find it, but it's not worth it. Dust to Dust, however, can take a lot of stuff. And also, we don't need Fumes or Grimbauble or Compass. I don't think this is one where Ambusher is going to be useful. Tithing Blade is okay. Relic is, or not Relic, Fountain is okay. I think it's good for powering out Enforcers. They're not going to kill a lot of our guys, probably. I don't know if we need 2 Relics. And Eviscerators is good, though. Maybe 1 Tithing isn't necessary. Something like that. Okay, any other cards that could potentially do the same job? Potentially, for sure. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's going to convert cards in your hand to like an effective outlet like that. I mean, there are other retrace cards, right? There's one that like drains your opponent for 2 life, but that's not affecting the board state in any way or resources in any way. There are some other retrace cards in other colors, but I don't think there's any others I can think of that are going to be anywhere near as effective. The reason Raven's Crime is so good is because it's 1 mana. Yes, it's a black mana. Well, it's a colored mana, right? So you need a bunch of the same color, which is tough. But like a lot of the other retrace cards are 2 or 3 or 4 mana, and so being able to cast them, like I can legitimately cast a Raven's Crime 6 or 7 times in this deck if I have all of the same, if I have enough of that mana and obviously a bunch of lands in hand. 1 land is not going to cut it. Last Rites, maybe. That's a good point. Last Rites can make you discard any number of cards and make your opponent discard. You get to Thoughtseize them per card you discard. Not a bad suggestion. This hand is not very good, but we have decent mana. We're already mulliganing. I think we're going to keep. Yeah, Last Rites is not a bad idea. I think I'd probably still prefer Raven's Crime because of a couple things. One, 3 mana can be a lot to play. I'm not saying this deck has plenty of mana. It's not going to be like too much to play, but being able to fit in a 1 Raven's Crime here to ping them for 1 card and then 1 Raven's Crime here is really nice. Ooh, okay, we're drawing pretty well here. We get to play that. So that's really good, but also you are down an extra card with the Last Rites, right? You have to play it for 3, and then if you discard 4 cards, you can take 4 cards, so you've spent 5 for 4. But you get to Thoughtseize them. You get to choose the cards that they take, that you take, which is obviously more powerful. But also you cannot take lands, which is relevant. Sometimes I'll, Raven's Crime my opponent so many times early enough that I can take a bunch of lands, which can also be pretty nice. Okay, they're going to have Tron next turn. I don't think I'm leaving anything up, though, like one of these. I think we're just playing the Skyfisher and rebuying the Familiar here. Raven's Crime also goes nuts if you're playing Black Mage's Rod. Absolutely. I haven't found Black Mage's Rod to be very effective in this deck, so I'm not comboing them here together here. But I've played Black Mage's Rod in more of a Golgari Gardens control deck, and absolutely, they're phenomenal together. And that would be another reason to do Crime over the Last Rites. I've also paired it with Raven of Fell Omens, which is a bit of a meme. It's certainly just the worst version of Black Mage's Rod, but same thing. You can target your opponent on multiple different turns, and it can be pretty nice. Okay, they haven't done anything, but this probably just means they have like a Mystical Teachings or something at the end step here. We're going to refurb them, and we don't have anything else to do, so this is what we're on. Oh, I will say, deck list was when we were playing Rakdos Knights, and I'm very good at streaming, and so I've forgotten to update the deck or our name, our stream title. But let me pull up the Esper CryoBlade deck real quick and send that. They have the breath weapon. Oh, well, they just tutored it. Oh, Ancient Grudge. Oh, well, that's just rude, isn't it? Ancient Grudge. Okay. Well, I guess so we don't get Ancient Grudged again. And also we take their teachings. We're going to exile their graveyard here. All right, here is the deck list. I did switch out one Eviscerator's Insight for a Mukotai Ambusher because our opponent, Ben Fraley in the chat, suggested it, and I thought it would be an interesting one to give a try. But otherwise, that list should be up to date. Thoughts on Lux Knight Breacher, Gift of Orzhova, Wedding Invitation package in Esper Glinthawk. Been really interested in it as it feels like it gives the deck a big finisher. I had not thought about Gift of Orzhova. That's a very interesting one. I think I'm just playing this. We only have 2 artifacts, so I could just pick up a bridge and replay it here, because then we have 2-turn clock, and I don't really want to replay this. I kind of want to hold up. Yeah, I think we're just doing that. I mean, if they have like another Mystic, it's not great here, I guess. They had nothing at the end step. They might just not have a very good hand here, in which case we have the 2-turn clock, and we have a Duress. We're going to swing for 6, and I mean, they might just have like Mnemonic Wall. I think we just hold up Cast Down, to be honest. Make big dude, give big dude evasion and or lifelink and profit. I think it's interesting. I think everything's worth a try. This is early enough in playing this deck. All right, we got a quick one. I'm going to definitely try to finish out this league then, since that did not take long. I think it's early enough. I haven't seen a ton of other people playing it. That there's not... I'm not going to say no to anything at this point. Like, I'm willing to try just about anything. And so I'm not going to... I think a lot of people are very dismissive of any idea. A Lux Knight Breacher, it's 4 mana, it's bad or whatever. And I'm inclined to say that I don't think it's probably going to be as effective as Mirror Enforcer. Mirror Enforcer is just free. Yes, making like a 10-10, 12-12, 20-20 if you're lucky, could be great. But then it just dies, classic, it dies to removal. Doesn't give you any other benefit. I mean, I played Lux Knight Breacher in a video recently, so I'm certainly not like, oh, it just dies to removal, it's a bad card or anything. But I think in this one, we already have so many things to spend our mana on, that including a 4-4, or 4 mana, 4-drop, I mean, to be your finisher is just not necessarily going to be as effective as just having a free 4-drop, a free 4-4. I can't not speak right now. We're against Illuminati, who's going to be playing, more than likely, Terror. And this hand is turn 2 Familiar. Then we have Insight for the Familiar, but we have a Thraben Charm, or we set... This is not great, but it's just good enough, and I don't like mulliganing when it's just good enough. So yeah, my inclination is that it's not going to be as strong as other finishers. Because also, you're going to play Gift of Orzhova and Wedding Invitation, which are not good against... Or not against. They're not very powerful with the other cards in our deck, right? So you put a Gift of Orzhova on a Glinthawk, and you spent 3 mana and an entire card to give +1/+1 and lifelink to a 2/2. Not great. Or you put it on a Skyfish or a Refurb. So I recently played Lux Knight Breacher in a Naya Wildfire list. They're swinging. I guess interestingly enough, I usually would make this trade, but we're kind of not in a great spot that I'll just let it go. They have another Delver. And another Delver? Okay. Untapped land, please. No! Oh my gosh. Imagine if we could triple Suffocating Fumes here. If they don't flip, I guess maybe we can still get there. But now I need to leave this back in block. Yikes. So I played this Naya Lux Knight Breacher Fling deck. And oh my god, they're not flipping. They have a Thought Scour to reset though. And a Brainstorm. Oh my gosh. So the next 2 are going to flip. Dang. So I wanted to play Fling with Lux Knight Breacher. But I didn't want to play a deck like Boros Synth or something where the Fling was going to be bad with every card other than Lux Knight Breacher, right? I wanted it to be used in a deck that you could use the Fling with other things. So I went Naya so that you could also fling Chrysalises, you could fling Avenging Hunter, and you could fling, what was the other one? You could fling Nyxborn Hydro. Well, we're in a bad spot. It was so close to being good. I guess if I sack this, Thraben Charm is turned off. I think we have to take that chance. Well, Refurb is good. That'll turn it back on. So my concern is that you're playing evasion cards that are only going to be good with those guys, and when you don't see them, they're going to be less effective than they could be. So that would be my main concern. But I think if you think it's worth a try, I say go for it and feel how it, see how it feels, because maybe it'll be better than I'm anticipating. Imagine if we just Suffocating Fumes to all of these. That would have been incredible. Okay, so I think I'm just going to refurb, shoot one of these now while they're tapped out, because they have a Sleep of the Dead, and then next turn we can get down Core Skyfisher and Enforcer, and this also means that if they tap this, I can untap it with a Skyfisher. Both decks look really interesting. Yeah, I like them quite a bit. I've been brewing a lot of different stuff recently. They are tapping it down, getting in for 4. They did not flip the other Delver. Thraben Charm. Okay, so Bridge puts us at 6 artifacts, which means I can play this for 1. I can play Skyfisher, bounce this, and play it again. Okay, we're not in a bad spot, but man, it could be a lot better. Get this refurb again, play it, draw a card. Okay, this one Delver left behind. Brutal. All right, finally flips off a Ponder. Also, they still have Sleep of the Dead active. So they sleep this. I trade with both of these, and then I lose to Terror. So I don't think I can do that, which means they sleep this. I still have to chump. If I could keep all my guys, then I could Thraben Charm the Terror and then block these next turn. But I can't imagine that's going to be the choice. Which means I'm going to have to draw... Oh, they do just let us go for it. They pondered? What does that mean? Does that mean they found like a boomerang? Do they play boomerang? I don't know. I guess I could look up Luminati's list right now, whatever their most recent one is, but I don't think I need to do that. I think we just got to go for it though, right? I just feel like they would have sleep. Oh, maybe they're just following it up with another Terror. I bet that's what it is. Yeah, we're going to do this. All right. It may just be a locals deck, but currently it's done well for me. I also play Mirror Enforcer, which goes from 0 mana 4/4 to 3 mana 4/5. That's fair. I was in my mind thinking Lux Knight would replace the Mirror Enforcer. So if you still have the Enforcers, I think that definitely adds more weight to the fact that it could still be very strong. Okay. So I could Thraben Charm this Aberration, block here, and Suffocating Fumes to trade, but they still have the Sleep of the Dead, and they'll use that, so I can't block, and I'll die to the Serpent, which means I actually need to use Thraben Charm to shoot their graveyard, and then I still do the Suffocating Fumes to trade these two, and then I have 2 turns with it Insight here to try to find a way to kill this Aberration. Same applies to Lux Knight, and both can be made unblockable. My local meta is very, very burn heavy though, so I don't have the dice to removal problem a ton. That's fair. Block here. They go to end step. Well, I'm hoping they don't have a counterspell, and that this will in fact eat a Serpent. And it did. Okay. I should have done it before damage maybe, but then, ooh, well, they didn't have a counterspell for that. Maybe they have something for this. Okay, Tithing Blade coming in clutch. Maybe we're still alive. This is still game 1, so they couldn't have an annul. I don't know what I'm thinking. There's a Brainstorm. We don't have anything here. And if I did, might be able to use blue for protection. I'll spell Pierce or something. Yeah, I think then it sounds like maybe it's better than I was thinking. Part of me wants to eviscerate his Insight, but if they just have a counterspell, it's kind of bad. I could do it on their turn. I could just flip a Tithing Blade, but I might actually want to bring the Tithing Blade back. I think we just go for it here for the Eviscerators on the Compass. That worked. Ooh, now we get a Blood Fountain. Okay, things are coming up us. Ooh, and they concede. We take game 1 here. Very nice. So against Terror, we get Charms and Duress. Take out Compass. Fumes was almost so good. It still was decent, but it wasn't as good as it should have been. And Bauble. Mukotai can reset Familiars and stuff. Yeah, we'll give that a try. Yeah, I guess if you're really burn heavy, it kind of makes me of 2 minds about it, because 1, your lifelink from Orzhova is going to be way better, but it also means a 4-drop that you really want in a late game is kind of worse, because can you even make it to the late game? But if it's done well for you, again, just keep going with it, and if you like it, that's great. I'm always a fan of innovation, and also, like, local meta, like, I certainly can't necessarily speak to what's going to be the best there. They double Mental Note, but keep a 1-lander. They're at 5 spells engraved already, though. I guess a refurb actually makes it so that they could discard a spell and then get a Terror down, so I actually don't want to refurb them now. Not until I have mana for a cast down, so I'm just going to Cryogen. Had to jump off again. Ninja getting any use? Yes, it did. I was able to use it against Red Madness when we were at about 7 life, and they had 2 cards in hand, so it looked pretty risky. Looked like we were going to die. They do get a Terror down. And we were able to get it to rebuy a Familiar or something to ping them for a bit, and also we gained, or to take a card from their hand, and also we gained 3 life. It was very sweet. cast down. To be fair, a lot of my MTGO lately has also been against burn. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of burn right now, for sure. Definitely not going to disagree with that. But for me on MTGO, it feels like it's sometimes very hard to get to the late game where the Lux Knight would be that effective, is all. I could play Enforcer here. These maybe trade. Don't love that. We can take a hit or two. I think I just need to find lands for these cast downs. So I think we're just going with Skyfisher Relic. Double Enforcer next turn is pretty good too. So much Madness Burn. There is really a lot. I fully agree. Not offended if you're not feeling it. I mean, I've only gotten to use it once, so I don't think that's necessarily a good representation of it being good or bad. When I had it one time, it was decent. So I wasn't blown away by it, but it was pretty good, and I think it might have kept us alive there. Annul is pretty bad here. I was counting on that to let us get down an Enforcer. Yikes. Looks like we might die to this one land hand of theirs. I guess if we're lucky, we draw an untapped land here. No. Our hand has all the answers, but we're not going to be able to deploy them. I don't know why I didn't attack. I probably should have just gone for it. I guess I probably want to chump here. Keep the affinity count otherwise. Serpent. I mean, this is a crazy hand. Glint Hawk, we have 5 artifacts right now, so if I play a Cryogen, I can get down 2 Enforcers. We have to pretty much count on them not having any sleeps or anything that I can trade and chump. I think that's our best bet. Yep. And if we draw like an untapped land here, maybe I can also get down a Glint Hawk. Well, Bridge actually lets us get down the Glint Hawk too, because now we have 7 spells for these guys. Okay, that's good. Maybe we have a shot here. Pick this up. Duress. Okay. Sleep is just really bad. But I guess now that we have the Glint Hawk, we can still go with a double block on a Terror. Chump here. They're just swinging. In that case, I think we're doing double block here. They can only kill 1 and trade here. No, I'd rather take the extra damage because actually this doesn't have ward. I'd rather block here because we have these cast downs. We keep like a Glint Hawk. I mean, not dead. We have Duress. Oh, Cryogen Relic also is so good. It can tap this down. Okay, so we Duress them. They just counterspell it and it doesn't really matter. Oh, but then I can Thraben Charm their graveyard, keep away any other serpents. Yeah, let's do that. Duress, also get rid of their... Okay, they have double counterspell, so I can't do that. Murmuring Mystic. We will take a counterspell. We're going to keep this tapped. Bajuka Bog, what a top deck. That's incredible. Well, now we can attack. They have a Deep Analysis in the yard. Yeah, so it's good to get that gone, but also just... They do have a Thought Scour, but I think we're just going for the Bajuka Bog. Since that dodges Counterspell. Thought Scour hits a Dispel. Brainstorm. If they don't find untapped land, we can cast this down. I guess even if they do, we have 2 cast downs, so we can kill it regardless. Although, I might actually just want to save... If they get a land here, I might want to save it for the Mystic, in case that becomes a problem. And I could just keep this tapped with the Relic for now. There is an island. They have 1 unknown. Okay, well, we can play Relic and see what happens there. Okay, it's fine. Another Thraben Charm. These are not removal spells at the moment. I don't want to... Okay, I think we're just going to cast this down, and if it gets eaten, I'm like dispelled, I might just Cryogen. That works, though. They have 4 spells in their grave, so a Terror could come next turn, but then I can just cast it down because they'll be tapped out, probably. So I think we just play another Cryogen here. And Refurb's not bad. Okay, they have a Brainstorm. And if they just get down to Mystic at this moment, it doesn't matter because I can just cast it down. A Mental Note, get rid of Sleep and Murmuring Mystic. Land, there's a Serpent, Vault of Whispers. Let's play a Familiar, make him discard a card. It's a counterspell, so I don't know their last card. Kind of expecting like a Dispel, but we'll just see what they got. It is a Dispel. I could double Thraben Charm this Serpent, but currently, I think we're going to leave that option open, because currently they can sleep one of these, but I could then just chump, and I can Cryogen Relic to keep this tapped for a couple turns, and I'd like to save one of these Thraben Charms to exile their graveyard. And if we get another creature, I can obviously just do that. Do 1 Thraben Charm to kill it. They Thought Scour, and they just hit a land. There's the Sleep. Oh, I can also just block. I don't even have to chump block, right? We can just block, and then Thraben Charm for the 4 damage, and then trade. That's pretty good. And then we can exile their graveyard. And then they have nothing. And I think that's going to be pretty close to getting us the game. A Relic off the top is a nice draw. And I guess we'll crack a Relic here just to see if we get like a Skyfisher or something. Glint Hawk, nice. I tapped our white earlier for no reason, even though we only had 2. So that was not smart. All right. And we were able to get the game against Illuminati for a nice 4-1. We dropped 1 match against Elves. Once again, I was going to say Spy Elves, but I'm pretty sure it was just Elves. And yeah, I mean, this deck is so good. It's like, it's really, really good. I will say, I think the Ambusher could definitely use more testing. I'm not going to say it's good or bad based on one game when I drew it. I don't necessarily know if it looks like the type of thing that I think is phenomenal. I think maybe it could be like a sideboard card if you are against red, although there's so many bolts if you're against red that like where it's most effective is also where it dies really easily. I don't know. It needs some more testing for sure. But otherwise, I mean, this deck just feels incredible. I think the Raven's Crime, perfect. I like a 1-of Grimbauble. Some people in the Discord were saying it feels, you know, it's not amazing, but it's really good to pick off turn 1 Delvers, turn 1 Goblin Tomb Raiders. And also, if you need to, you can play it twice with like a Glint Hawk, take down an X4 or whatever. Mirror Enforcer, I think, just shows how good it is every time you play it. Even when I have to like block 2 or 3 of them on a Terror, like one of them versus a Terror is not great. But if you just have one of them with like a Glint Hawk, then if they don't have a combat trick of some sort or a boomerang, you're just trading a 4/4 for their 5/5, which is still obviously fine. Suffocating Fumes is very good. Thraben Charm's been great. I don't know. I mean, if people have suggestions, please let me know, because I'm happy to try everything, but it's feeling great. That is all I can say about it. I do think that's going to be it for me for today, for streaming. I've been going for about 4 hours. I'll probably put this VOD up tomorrow if I can get it up that quickly, but if not, probably Saturday, because I'll have something going up on Friday. But thank you all for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I don't have a set schedule for streaming right now, but I'm planning to try to do it again on Friday, probably afternoon. So if you can just drop by then, and otherwise I'll probably try to start doing like Mondays and Saturdays, but we will see. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.